to the veteran Joyner, a long gainer.
An appropriate way for the Chargers to begin their regular season with Fouts doing what he does so well, and the veteran Charlie Joyner, with so many years experience, finding an opening in that Jets defense, pulling down a 30-yard gain.
Fouts with Brooks and Muncie behind him. Wes Chandler, who led all of the NFL in receiving yardage last year, has a bad foot and is not in the starting lineup. He's been replaced by Dwight Scales. That's Kellen Winslow in motion. Complete. Eric Sievers to the Jets 31. Another first down. Stan Blinka cut him down. Sievers, the third-year tight end from Maryland. Joyner, Scales, and Winslow, the receivers for Fouts. The blockers who did so well in protecting Fouts last year. Shields, but McKnight in his first start. Masick the center. White the veteran. Gissinger, he is for Russ Washington, who has been waived by the Chargers.
Two of those changes, big ones. Masick, we're going to keep an eye on. He's been hurt, too, in the center of that offensive line.
Fouts 2 for 2 passing. Goes to Muncie on a sweep. And he is inside the Jets' 30-yard line. Jerry Holmes, number 47, first to make contact. Let's check the defense in the green and white. Gaston O'Neill, Lyons, and Klecko, the only AFC team to use the four-man defensive line. We'll be talking about that with Merlin during the course of the game. Buttle, Blinka, and Mel. They regard Mel as their best all-around backer. Jackson and Holmes at the corners. Troy and Darrell Ray at safety. Second and 7. Fouts intercepted and then dropped. Number 40, Bobby Jackson, who had 5 interceptions last year, had the ball for a moment as Fouts offline. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Chargers.
Dick, the 3 injuries the Chargers are most concerned about. We mentioned Wes Chandler, who will see limited action today. Their center, Don Masick, who, of course, is nursing a bad back. Had back spasms, has not practiced, has been kept out of the lineup. He's one we'll keep an eye on. And Fouts has an arch injury. Right foot. That's his planting foot. And we'll keep an eye on him to see how he's favoring that foot today.
He did not play in the last 2 preseason games. On 3rd and 7. Dwight Scales with a diving attempt, incomplete, and Rolf Benirschke will try a long field goal for the Chargers. Now he's the story. Benirschke has 98 successful field goals. When he hits on his next 2, he undoubtedly will become then officially the leading percentage field goal kicker in NFL history. He's considerably ahead of Tony Frisch at the moment at nearly 74%, but he does not qualify in that he's only kicked 98 successfully. This will be a 46-yarder. Kicking from the infield dirt, which will make it tougher.
I just saw him mark a spot with his toe, too, for his kicker. That snap.
And he misses badly. Duck hooks it into the left end of the end zone, and the Jets will take over at the line of scrimmage.
Dennis McKnight, a youngster who's getting a starting assignment, and I'm sure has had a lot of concern about his responsibilities. The guy who snapped that badly. You see there the sign for Kicks for Critters. That's Rolf's campaign to earn money for the zoo. Let's watch it. The snap was low. It bounced. Hard to get it up into place, and you see the result of that. That's really a 3-man effort. You've got to have a good snap, a good hold, and a good kick. Don Coryell, unfortunately, did not get all 3 as the snap went awry and made it impossible to get it up between the uprights.
Jets from their 28. Todd to Walker. And well covered by Tim Fox, number 48, the veteran from Ohio State. Gain of 4. No score here in San Diego. We've played 5 minutes. Now let's go to NFL 83 in New York. Upset brewing at Three Rivers Stadium. The Steelers favored in Denver without their talented rookie trying to post an upset. Jets look at 2nd and 6. Going long and intercepted by Danny Walters at the 46-yard line. A flag is down, and we'll see whether or not the Chargers were guilty of a foul prior to the interception as Walters in his first game in the NFL picks off the pass. It belongs to San Diego.
The Chargers came up with everyone on that last play, Dick.
Interference. Number 85 of the offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Wesley Walker tabbed with offensive interference. You'll get a chance to see it here. Todd had audibles. He goes to the outside, gets the pass off, overthrows it. Gets it pulled down right there by Walters.
What a thrill for the rookie. San Diego will have the ball when we return. Thank you, Len Berman, and a great job on the initial show, NFL 83 today. The revised look and some exciting features. We'll have great coverage for you all year long. The San Diego Chargers, with the first turnover, take the ball at the 43 of the Jets. Fouts on the ground. Chuck Muncy plowing to the 40. Well, Merlin, the first game of the season, and with that attached question marks for all the teams in the league. Let's take these two. First for the San Diego Chargers. What are the biggest cues?
Well, I think the first question is defensively. Can they improve a defense that was so shoddy over the past few seasons and really kept them from being effective in the playoffs? And they've got 4 rookies, 2 at linebacker and 2 at corner, and that appears to have made a difference already. The other question, can Fouts and company continue the pace that they've been on for the last 4 years?
Second down and 7 at the 40. Fouts is 2 for 2. White Scales, and good coverage by Bobby Jackson. Scales had it, but Jackson enough contact to knock it away. All right, for the New York Jets. What do you feel is the top question for a talented club from New York?
Well, certainly a question about the transition to Walton as head coach, and that appears to have gone smoothly. The other question is how much better can they be with a year's experience, and we have yet to answer that one. The Jets had gone in on that last play with a 5-man line, Dick. They put Ben Rudolph in over the center. They know that the answer to the puzzle here in San Diego is pressure Dan Fouts. That's what they're trying to do with that 5-man line.
Fouts on 3rd and 7. Going for Winslow, and broken up by Jackson again. Good play by Bobby Jackson, the 6-year man from Florida State.
A chance for you to get a feeling of what it must be like for a defensive back to have Kellen Winslow running at them. Fouts is not afraid to go to Winslow when he's covered. He did it there, and Jackson a leaping move to get that ball away. And you saw how high he had to go, and Kellen was just striding. That's the advantage of being 6'7", Dick.
Now Jackson, who was too small to play in high school, so went out for the band and played the drums. And he timed his move beautifully. An excellent defensive play, and the Chargers bring in the punting unit. That'll be Maury Buford in his second year from Texas Tech. He averaged in his rookie season last year 41.3. Kellen Winslow unable to pick off his first pass of this new season. He'll get plenty before the year is out. In 4 years, he's caught 256 passes.
Man who hasn't had many opportunities to kick the football. Maury Buford gets a lot of rest here. Fouts and company stop themselves more often than they really get stopped by the opposition.
That's right. Buford kicked the ball less than any kicker in the NFL last year. Well, the Chargers let the clock, 30-second clock, go, hoping they'd get 5 more yards, but the Jets say, no, we're not going to give you the room. We decline the penalty. And going to Joe Walton wants to force Buford to pooch the ball, as they call it, to hit the soft one in. Number 23, Mike Harmon, the rookie, is back at the other end as Buford. Ready to kick for San Diego.
Got 10 men up, Dick. Let's see if they go after it. Now it's a return.
Aiming for the sidelines. And into the end zone, the touchback for the Jets. And they'll start at the 20-yard line. 40-yard punt, but 20-yard net.
Dick, one of the things that the players, as you look down from a high angle, you'll see that the baseball configuration of this stadium leaves a large open area of dirt through the middle of the field. That's true of a lot of stadiums that are used for both baseball and football around the country. The football players hate that. They'll come out of this game with their elbows skinned, and there are times, like right now, when they're operating in that skinned area that it makes it very difficult to get their footing. Let's see what Todd is going to get off here to try and take advantage of their second opportunity with the football.
Freeman McNeil, the only back, and this is McNeil. Down down at the 26-yard line. A little misdirection by the Jets, and McNeil, who averaged 5.2 yards a carry last year, picks up nearly 7 on that one.
We've got to believe that the Jets' plan today is to take most advantage of the running skills of number 24, Freeman McNeil. You notice they call a play that takes him out into the turf area where he can get some footing. A little misdirection as he started one way and then went against the grain. I think hoping to confuse those rookie linebackers inside, get a little premature reaction from them, and then go back against the grain. Good play.
With Lamb Jones back in New York, Mike Harmon seeing more duty. He's way out to the left. Walker to the right. To Walker. Oh, my, that could have been dangerous as Gil Byrd, the rookie, just did get enough of Walker to trip him up. Had he not fallen, Walker with his speed was gone.
Lots of concerns about the wide receivers for the Jets. Kurt Sohn on the injured reserve list. Walker himself has been bothered with an Achilles problem. Shows no sign of it here. Again, you saw the young rookie on the outside. Byrd giving him a little bit of room. I don't blame him. Wesley has blazing speed. The youngster will learn the hard way that he can catch him short, too.
First down, Jets at the 36-yard line. Schuler in motion. Freeman McNeil, room outside. 40. 50. Freeman McNeil, a first down at the San Diego 47-yard line as we welcome those of you who have been watching the Denver Broncos upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 14-10. And they did it despite an injury to John Elway, their talented rookie quarterback, come from behind for the Denver Broncos. And a big win for them in the opener and a stunning upset for the Steelers at home here in San Diego. The Jets with their third possession and the first time they moved the ball into San Diego territory have a first down at the 47. No score. Rolf Bernerska missed a 46-yard field goal. That is the only scoring try. Crutchfield blasting to the 40, but a flag is down back in the Jets backfield. Holding. New York.
Dick, we mentioned the injuries to both teams. Certainly that's one of the healthy bodies there. Dwayne Crutchfield is at 229 pounds on Friday. They said last year he played at 245 and often got up as heavy as 255.
Holding during the run. Number 65 of the offense. Still first down.
Red Cashin's voice and his crew. You talk about Crutchfield 45. One of his thighs, 30 inches. That's a waste on some of these folks. So he's a load to bring down. He's fast, and they feel he's going to really complement Freeman McNeil during the course of this season. First down after the penalty, 1st and 20. Todd incomplete as he tried to go underneath to Mike Harmon. That'll be 2nd down and 20 for the Jets. Now let's go to NFL 83. Frank Kush, a chance for him to get his first NFL win. Got a tie last year in his first year in the National Football League. And the Colts and Patriots in overtime in the opener. 2nd down 20. Freeman McNeil chased down at the 46-yard line by Billy Ray Smith, the #1 draft pick of the Chargers out of Arkansas.
We talked about the injuries to the New York Jets. Now that looks like a third of the team. It almost is. And a number of those injuries are players who are off the roster. Kurt Sohn, for example, promising receiver. And Luzinski and Floyd, all three of those guys are on injured reserve. Crable, they would love to have used him today. Harper, they'd love to have him here. And some of those players who are here will see limited action. Just an idea of how many injuries the Jets have had to contend with in this preseason.
And it's not much better for the Chargers, and we'll give you their story in a moment. Todd is under pressure. Keith Ferguson, number 76, with Ackerman and King to help out. And, of course, the Chargers will cheer that kind of defense.
Richard Todd obviously concerned about that kind of pressure. And if you'll watch Todd, you'll realize that the reason he did not get that football off is because of the coverage. Chargers had excellent coverage. Todd had nowhere to go. Good pressure in there. Ferguson, the first man to him, number 76. Ackerman and Gary Big Hands Johnson right behind. Good three-man rush.
4th down and long yardage. Chuck Ramsey's second punt. It's a beauty. James Brooks alone at the Charger 13. 20. 25 and covered at about the 28-yard line. John Woodring, special teams captain of the Jets, in on the tackle. He had plenty of help. Timeout here in San Diego with 4:48 remaining in the first quarter of a scoreless game. Backup quarterback Pat Ryan discussing action here in the first quarter. The Jets have moved once into San Diego territory, but briefly penalty brought them back. The Chargers moved deep enough to try a 46-yard field goal, missed wide and short by Benershka. Bobby Duckworth, he had a great preseason in motion. This is James Brooks, toppled at the 31-yard line. Knifing underneath was Stan Blinka, 54, and Lance Mell, 56. Dan Fouts, what a 4 years he's put together. 4,009 yards. Then he broke that, 4,715. Then broke that NFL record 2 years ago, 4,802, and was on another record pace in the 9-game shortened season of last year. And he came out throwing today. For those of you who joined us late, his very first pass was worth 30 yards to Joyner.
He didn't waste a minute, did he, Dick?
Second down, 7. Kellen Winslow, was he down? Yes, at the 36-yard line. Lost the ball after he hit the turf. Johnny Lynn, the 5th back, defensive back for the Jets, made the hit. Short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2. 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining first quarter. And we welcome those of you who have been watching that overtime game won by the Baltimore Colts. Frank Bush's first victory in the NFL in overtime, 29-23 at New England. The Colts kicking a field goal to tie it in the final seconds and then winning in overtime. Here, no score in San Diego. Muncie looking for a first down, and he's got more out of bounds at the 45-yard line of San Diego. 10-yard run for Muncie.
Big Chuck Muncie. Chargers using motion to get an extra blocker in front of Muncie as he breaks off the left-hand side, and Muncie showing excellent speed. Muncie has been, of course, one of the great big backs in the NFL for a long while, and he is a load when he can get off that corner, Dick.
He's closing in on the 6,000-yard rushing mark. That's Winslow in motion. Brooks the other way. Breaks a tackle and drives out of bounds at the 48-yard line of the Jets. He turned a 2-yard gain into 7 before Blinka from Sam Houston State could make the tackle, number 54.
Again, the motion to get the extra blocker. Winslow out in front. That's Brooks. They call him Thunder and Lightning. And, of course, lightning is the quickness of Brooks, and thunder, the thundering feet of Big Chuck Muncie.
Boy, one of the assistants for the Jets took a forearm from Brooks as he tried to help him out of bounds.
That's what you get for trying to help out the other team, Dick.
That's right. 2nd down and 3. Brooks burrowing to the 45 is going to be close to the first down. 3:06 remaining in the first quarter. No score in San Diego. Let's check elsewhere. Back to New York. It must have seemed like forever for Cush. He even had to go into overtime to get that initial win. Chargers 3rd and less than a yard at the Jets 45. No score. It's Brooks driving to what appears to be a first down. He needed very little. Marty Lyons, he's playing with a healing chip fracture of the ankle, leading the charge defensively for the Jets. We'll see where they spot it.
Spot so critical in a play like that. Obviously, you get as much as you can, and then you're pushed back. But Brooks able to get enough for the officials to indicate a first down. They'll move it on down. Fouts now has them into Jet territory.
A beautiful day in San Diego. A breeze off the ocean, temperature in the mid-70s, a cloudless sky. 2 teams picked to make it to the playoffs here in '83. Start the season at Jack Murphy Stadium. No score. Eric Stevers to the 33. Darrell Ray made the hit. It's another San Diego first down.
Dick, the thing that makes Fouts so very tough is the fact that he really sees the whole field. I don't think there's a quarterback in the league who has the kind of vision that Dan Fouts has. He's looking all the way on the left-hand side to a little-used tight end by the name of Eric Sievers. Doesn't get the PR of Kellen Winslow, but Fouts knows how dependable he is. He's got him wide open there before they can come up and cinch him from the outside. Little head tackle there by Darrell Ray.
Sievers off the field might have been shaken on the play, and Pete Holohan from Notre Dame has replaced him. First down at the 33. For Joyner. Well covered by Jerry Holmes, number 47, with help from Kurt Springs. Holmes, this week, announced that he is signed with the United States Football League, their franchise in Pittsburgh, which, of course, can do more than disrupt the club, but apparently the Jets have handled it rather nicely. They don't feel that that will be a bad influence this year as long as Holmes plays well.
They certainly hope it won't. You look at the graphic, which is very dramatic in and of itself. Fouts has 30 100-yard, 300-yard plus games. Unitas, of course, the old record holder at 26.
And Fouts looking for plenty more this year. Brooks, no hole. Good coverage in the center of the defensive line. Marty Lyons from Alabama, the #1 pick of the Jets in '79. Mark Gastineau helping out. There's Lyons, who was a baseball pitcher in high school. You imagine facing him. He wasn't quite as big as he is now, 6'5" and 265 at the present time, but he could throw it hard. Struck out 23 batters once in a high school game. 10th play of the drive for the Chargers, trying to get the first score of this game, and we're in the final minute of the first quarter.
Three-man line for the Jets as they go to a prevamp here on 3rd and long.
3rd down 9. Fouts to Duckworth.
Duckworth coming down. Now watch number 48, Ken Schroy. Had the ball all the way, misjudged the height on the football, got his hands on it just enough to tip it up, and it drops into the hands of Bobby Duckworth. And Fouts, of course, says that's the way it's supposed to be. It could just as easily have been an interception for Schroy, except that he misjudged the football.
So 32 yards for Duckworth, 1st and goal, just outside the 1. It's Muncy for the touchdown.
To look at it at home. Muncy right over the middle of the stack. They got a piece of him. Mel, number 54, or Blinken, number 54 in there. Mel coming in from the outside, but they could not stop Chuck Muncy as he goes up over the top.
Rolf Benirschke will try the extra point. The score came at the end of the first quarter. The quarter is over. Benirschke's kick is good. And the Chargers celebrate the first score of the game. It's 7-0 San Diego.
Big concern for the Jets, the importance of not allowing themselves to get down as San Diego hits the first strike.
Bobby Duckworth, 32-yard play. Great catch. Set it up. Down to 9 when Schroy couldn't intercept. Duckworth with a one-handed catch, setting up Muncy's touchdown. 7-0 San Diego. We open the second quarter. Springs out to the 26-yard line, and he's hit hard at that point by Jerry Nelson, number 55, and underneath the stack, number 31 as well for the Chargers as we pause for this word. Out of this 1983 year, NBC all the way to the AFC Championship. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. I could feel the old adrenaline pumping through your veins today.
I tell you, and I thought watching those 4 rookies being introduced today, I could feel the excitement in them. What a great thing for them to be introduced as starters in their first NFL game.
San Diego introduced its defensive unit, so those 4 rookies had a chance to hear the cheers. Todd trailing 7-0. Right in and out of the arms of Freeman McNeil. And again, those 4 rookies, and some of you joined us late, 2 inside linebackers for San Diego are Mike Green, 58, and Billy Ray Smith, 54. And the corners, Gil Byrd, 22, and Danny Walters, 23. There are the rookie linebackers. Billy Ray Smith, of course, his daddy, 14 years, a star in the National Football League. Baltimore Colts. Mike Green was a long shot to make the club, a 9th-round draft pick. McNeil with a drop at 2nd and 10 at the Jets' 25. Wayne Crutchfield for short yardage out to the 28. Tim Fox coming up from a safety spot to help out on the tackle.
One of the things that Freeman McNeil has never had to do a great deal of is blocking. Here he's asked to go in on Gary Big Hands Johnson and actually occupied the big end long enough for Crutchfield to get by. Crutchfield did run into other tracking.
That was Crutchfield's first carry for 3 yards. Cornerbacks, both rookies. Byrd, #1 pick out of San Jose State, and Walters, 4th-round pick from Arkansas. Both starters as rookies so far.
And doing all right. 1 interception for Walters so far.
3rd and 7, and Todd will pick up the first down and gets out of bounds with Gregor gaining on him from behind. So Todd, with eyes in the back of the helmet, he said, I can hear him coming. I'm getting out of here. 17 yards on the scramble.
You can believe there's a little bit of heart stopping going on the Jet sideline. I saw Todd at practice on Friday. He's wearing big, heavy thigh pads now to try and protect him. He got a deep thigh bruise early that kept him out of some action, and he also wears rib pads in the game, and that's protective. He just doesn't want to take a shot in the ribs that will put him on the sideline. A lot of quarterbacks going to more padding now to give them the protection they feel they need.
Todd, first down at his own 46. McNeil, 50, 45, and out of bounds at the 40. McNeil showing that speed and power. Boy, he's got the whole package at 5'11" and 218. 14 more yards for McNeil.
Number 79, Big Hands Johnson, playing at right end, has never played end before. This is really the first time he's ever had to be out there very much, and they were able to get him buried pretty good. Do some other fine blocking out there. Derek Gaffney, 81, down in front to try and get a hold of the defender, give McNeil a couple of extra yards, but a beautiful run, nicely executed on the line of scrimmage by the offensive line.
McNeil has 48 yards rushing already in this first half. 1 minute gone in the second quarter. 7-0 San Diego. First down, Jets at the 40 of the Chargers. Play action, and going deep. McNeil was open, a play that was effective last week in the final preseason at New Orleans. McNeil with a long gainer, but he came up limping after his last run, and he was not running at full speed on that play.
McNeil kind of dragging a leg a little bit as he comes back, but that was designed, of course, to try and fool those rookie linebackers. Now, let's give you a little bit of a feeling for what it's like down on the field, as you'll see McNeil going right up the middle. Watch the fake right there now. McNeil continues on through. If the linebacker does not make the adjustment and drop, you saw Billy Ray Smith, 54, right there. He was stride for stride with McNeil. Good reactions by the young rookie.
Second down, 10. Gaffney in motion. Big hole for Crutchfield. And look at the power. All the way to the 30-yard line. That's going to be very close to a first down before Fox and Gregor from safety could wrestle him down.
Dick, we've highlighted our whole game with talk of injuries, and certainly the offensive line for the Jets has had more than their share. Jim Lazinski, one of those that's gone on injured reserve. Let's look at that offensive line there. That's Chris Ward on this side, 72, pushing his man outside. Fields and Waldemore, really the key people on that play as they opened it up inside. Dan Alexander has been healthy throughout the season, as has Marvin Powell, although Powell was in the training room this last week. But Waldemore with an injured knee and Joe Fields with an injured knee have both missed substantial practice time and playing time in the preseason.
The Jets are in the first down and have the ball in their deepest penetration just inside the San Diego 30, but now have to operate in the middle of that baseball infield.
Boy, they hate that. Yuck.
Both sides. That's Mickey Schuller leading McNeil. And Freeman McNeil into a sea of white jerseys after a 2 or 3 yard carry. He's now up to the 50-yard mark. McNeil, who last year rushed for 786 yards to lead the NFL.
Let's look inside at that 58. Mike Green and Billy Ray Smith, 54, the linebackers who were over there, both of them on top of McNeil. You saw Schuler come in motion. What they're trying to do is confuse those linebackers a little bit. They like to be strong and weak side, and of course when you shift the tight end from one side to another, you shift the strength. You want to make those youngsters think. So far, they're doing a pretty good job of it.
Open is Walker. Touchdown! Wesley Walker. So there it is. It really is lightning in a bottle, and you're waiting for that speed of Walker to turn a rookie corner around, and he was wide open.
Without the speed of Lamb Jones, they needed to have at least one deep threat. Richard Todd said, I've got to have Wesley at least so I can open him up deep. He does it here. Walker sneaking in behind Bird and outrunning number 48, Tim Fox, into the corner of the end zone. Beautiful play. Nice touchdown. Let's see if they can add the extra point.
74-yard drive and 8 plays for the Jets, and now Leahy tries to tie it up. He's got it, and we have a new game with 12 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first half here in sunny San Diego. The Jets have tied the Chargers at 7. Bolton's Jets less than 2.5 minutes to tie it up. A 74-yard drive. Richard Todd with a payoff. 26 yards to Wesley Walker. Pat Leahy kicks, and James Brooks at the 5, the 15, 20, and out of bounds around the 28, and a flag is down. And usually you expect illegal use of the hands in that spot. Kirk Springs made the tackle for the Jets.
By number 88, Tom Krug.
Brooks showing how valuable he is. The illegal block there as you illegal use of the hands. Cashin making his way across to mark it off.
Yeah, most of the finals are in, and I know in case you haven't heard them all, we'll run down all of those for you in just a moment.
Kind of surprising for a few of the teams in the NFL today that were expected to have comfortable openings and kind of got dumped on their keisters a bit.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 43 of the receivers. It's 1st and 10.
Bob Gregor, the safety man, guilty of the foul. Joe Walton, he was a baseball player in high school. In fact, 3 major league clubs looked at him as a center fielder, not a catcher.
Looks like a catcher.
Looks like a catcher now. We'll be right back. Well, not as hot as it looks, but in the sun, certainly warmer, with temperature reported mid-70s here in San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. 7-all tie from the 15. Chuck Muncy. Nothing there. Well played defensively by Greg Buttle, number 51. Let's check all the scores. These are all finals for you. The Raiders open with a win in Cincinnati, 20-10. Miami shuts out Buffalo. Kay Stevenson's debut ruined up at Rich Stadium, 12-0 Dolphins. Denver upsets Pittsburgh, 14-10 at Three Rivers. The Rams, John Robinson opens his NFL career with a win at New York, 16-6 Giant Stadium. Minnesota beats Cleveland, 27-21. More after this play. 2nd down, 7. Draw to Muncy. Flags are down, and so is Muncy.
And Big Ed White is saying, who, me? I wouldn't hold him.
Other scores. Again, finals. Dan Henning, the new Atlanta coach. He gets a win in his first game, 20-17 against the Bears. New Orleans, Bum Phillips. Yeah, a lot of them are picking Bum to win his division this year. 28-17 opens with a win against the Cardinals. Quite a game there. Green Bay, Houston rallied from way back, forced overtime. The Packers win it on a field goal, 41-38. Another overtime game. The Colts, first win for Frank Kush in the NFL, 29-23 at New England. Detroit shuts out Tampa Bay in Florida, 11-0. And underway, the only other game played late today, along with this one, Kansas City, 7-3 against Seattle. Those 2 more new coaches there. Makovic for Kansas City and Chuck Knox for Seattle.
Ed White tagged with the holding penalty on Kenny Neal.
Score here is 7-all. And stopped cold is Chuck Muncy me as Lance Mel, number 56, plugs the hole. Mel, remember when he had those 2 interceptions in that Raider playoff win in the Coliseum and became the star? And they went to him and crowded around him and interviewed him, and I loved his comment afterward. He said, "I didn't know what to do. I'd never been a hero before."
Well, according to the Jets coaches and scouts who watched Mel, he deserved that kind of ranking long before that game. One of the most consistent linebackers in the NFL.
3rd down and 15. 6 defensive backs in. Fouts. Pressured by Gastineau. Incomplete pass, and look at Gastineau. Look at the body on this man. It's hard to believe he's 265 pounds. He is the fastest lineman in football.
Watch the way he comes on the inside. That's Drew Gissinger, 75, who's replaced Russ Washington here. And he just accelerated across between the blockers and ran right over the top of Fouts. In fact, there was a little bit of question as to whether Fouts had started his throwing motion. Had he not started that arm forward, that would have been a fumble.
First punt for Maury Buford. Actually, his second. Kicked his first into the end zone, a short kick, 40 yards. Got plenty of room on this one, and he hits it. Back is Mike Harmon. Oh, all the way back to his 30-yard line. 40. And Harmon out of bounds finally at the 50. That was 70 yards in the air off the foot of Buford. But a good return at 20 yards by Harmon. The Jets in a 7-all tie will open this next series from the 50-yard line. But first we pause for this word. Art Gastineau, a happy man on the sidelines. His Jets defense stopping the Chargers, and now New York has the ball at the 48-yard line, their own territory. 18-yard return officially for Harmon. Todd with his 2 wide men to the right. Walker and Gaffney. Crutchfield. Stop called and then surged forward for a 2-yard gain. Good defensive charge from San Diego. In fact, they were kidding here because of the Chargers not doing so well defensively. We'll get to that in a moment.
Joe Fields, number 65, working on Rick Ackerman here. Ackerman, number 91, was a college tackle that's been moved back to that nose position, and is really not physically configured to that position. He's very big for a nose tackle, but does a great job of working inside, as does number 79, Gary Johnson, working on Chris Ward. They shut it off for a small gain. Jets will have 2nd and 8.
Todd to Walker, or is it Gaffney over there? Walker, and they're playing him loosely, but Bird able to make the quick hit short of the first down.
One of the things you'll see in this San Diego defense, until these youngsters get comfortable, the fact that the corners are going to lay back. They're going to stay back. Let's go back inside on this particular play, which is a little holding play for number 65, Joe Fields. Well, yeah, that's kind of what's expected now in the NFL. Your man gets by you, as Ackerman did, Joe Fields there, and you get those hands in close, but you do a little lockup on them. Even the good centers hold.
3rd down 2 for Todd at the 44 of San Diego. At Schuler. Todd to Schuler. First down at the 42-yard line. Whoa, maybe not a first down. It's going to be very close. Gregor made the hit.
You know, Dick, I can laugh about that holding now. If I were down on the line, I think I would be a little angry. In fact, not just a little bit angry, a lot angry. Let's see where they're going to mark it, and let's see what kind of choice Joe Walton is going to make here. He's going to be very close to the first down, but I don't think he's going to make it.
That's a thing, that bad ribbing that the San Diego defense has taken the last several years, because they've been down near the bottom of the rankings. In fact, some of the writers here, they stretch out for that first down. Let's see. It is going to be just short. They've even call them San Diego, I-E-G-O, because there's no D in San Diego.
San Diego. Joe Walton says simply, with that distance to go, we're going. The man to his right, on your left, was Jim Ringo, his new offensive line coach, and Don Coryell, veteran on the other side, who leaves his defense in the hands of Tom Bass, hoping that Tom has got his troops ready for this short yardage situation. They'd love to get their hands on the football again here, Dick.
Well, Bob Gregor's solid hit of Schuler denied the Jets the first down, so Walton gambles on 4th and inches at the 42 of San Diego.
Scott Durking in that backfield, number 25, and it looks like Crutchfield behind him. No, it's not.
Augustiniak.
That's the big backs in there now.
With 3 tight ends, and Todd sneaks it ahead. He's got it. Good surge from field to center. Waldemore and Alexander the guards.
A growing trend, is certainly in the NFL, and I think it's a good one. Give everybody a chance to play, and certainly Walton has done that along with Gardy. They put a lot of people on the field, and even if it means you're only going to play a half a dozen plays in a game, the fact that you're involved gives you a reason to get ready, and a reason to get up, and a reason to really feel like you're part of the team. I think that's a very positive thing in the way the game was played today, Dick.
And those extra players have given the Jets the necessary yardage by plenty. First down at the 40. Todd to throw. Going long for Walker. Touchdown. No, he was out of bounds. Didn't get both feet in. He got one foot down, but not the other, as again they worked on the rookie cornerback, Walder.
Danny Walder showing you the kind of speed he has. Now, they told me he runs somewhere between a 4.3 and a 4.4, but look at the way he turns his head around. Actually made 3 different turns of the head. We'll go all the way to the end of it. You won't see that part of it. You'll just see the finale of it. And unfortunately, we're cutting a little high, but it looked like he was indeed out with that second step. But a fine pass, just a little bit too far to the sideline, or Wesley Walker would have had a second big reception in this ballgame.
Walker, who caught a 26-yard touchdown for the Jets' first score. It's 7-all, 8 minutes left, first half. Flag is down. Jerome Barkham out of bounds. No catch.
Well, they've already got a flag down on Marvin Powell, number 79, for holding Keith Ferguson, 76, on that last play. And Marvin's taken a few of those flags. A fine, in fact, considered to be one of the finest offensive linemen in the NFL. But again, you can't hold out in the open, even with the expanded holding rules in the NFL.
And in fact, that's where they catch you, out there in the open, with that Todd swinging to the right. 10 yards marked off against the Jets, back to their half of the 50.
Holding number 79 of the offense. Still second down.
Marvin Powell, whose dad was a career military man. A couple years ago, he took his dad back to Normandy Beach, Omaha Beach in Normandy, France, as part of a trip. We paused briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Channel 5, WPTV, West Palm Beach.
Second down, 20 for the New York Jets. And on the draw play, Lyndon King surging through along with Rick Ackerman. And the Chargers weren't fooled a bit. Freeman McNeil suffers his first running loss today, a -5.
Well, the blitz was on that play, and you'd love to have a blitz against the draw play. It destroys the effect of the draw and really puts Freeman right back into the middle of it. Done on the inside, freed up Ackerman as he was able to zero in on McNeil and drop him for a loss. And faced with a very long third down. You got any good plays for this one, Dick?
No. Rick Ackerman from Memphis State. 254. This is Hector, the rookie. Looks like the Jets have a pretty good play. And Hector's still going. They may go all the way. All the way to the 12-yard line. Oh, my. Johnny Hector, the second-round pick from Texas A&M. Everyone in the stadium was looking for a pass.
Well, and I think there were about half of the Chargers on the field had a shot at Johnny Hector, one of the youngsters that Joe Walton is very pleased with. Look at the moves he puts on here. Gets away from a hand tackle there, goes right through the rookie Walters there, gets away from a second, pulls out good leg strength there. It's Bob Greger, 43, that comes over to pull him down. But what a big play. Let's watch that turn right there. Rolled to the outside, went right through Danny Walters. Second try right there to miss him. He's stretching here, but he cannot get away from Bob Greger. But a big first down, and a surprise for everyone in the stadium.
32-yard run for Hector. First down at the 13, and Todd looking for 6. Underneath the Harmon at the 9. Well covered by Danny Walters and Gilbert. Mike Harmon. Let's take a look at him on the 11th round pick from Mississippi.
Spent most of the training camp, the early part of the year, as a running back, but after Sohn went down, he had to come back to this receiving position. Is known to have excellent hands, and they say he's been catching everything thrown at him. You see it there. Had to feel the pressure, still took that ball comfortably and pulled it down. Second, about 6 yards to go, Dick.
Harmon's brother Clarence Harmon, running back with the Redskins the last few years. Not much inside, but fighting for a couple yards goes Dwayne Crutchfield. He's to about the 6-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Jets.
Again, attacking the right side of that Charger defense. We mentioned that number 79, Gary Big Hands Johnson, right at the bottom of your picture. You see him there. That's Chris Ward working on him. He has never played that end position, and he's just getting used to it. And it takes him getting used to it. He said the biggest problem there is he's got so much time. He's used to having everything popping right on top of him. And now he's got a lot of time to work on it out there. Different kinds of blocking, too.
Walker left and Harmon to the right. 3rd and 3. And on the blitz.
That's Carlos Bradley, I believe. No, it's Green.
Mike Green. His number was covered by front of his uniform from the dirt of the infield, but it's Green from Oklahoma State.
One of the young rookies from his inside position coming all the way around, and Todd didn't have a chance. Again, the Chargers have not been a blitzing team. They haven't done that much blitzing. Here he comes from the inside. Stan Wallimore right there gets hooked up on the inside by Johnson, who did a good job, and shielding him that way, he could not get out to pick him up.
33-yard field goal is good by Pat Leahy, and the Jets settle for 3. Timeout. 5:04 left in this first half in San Diego. The Jets, for the first time, have the lead. Here in San Diego, they'll begin construction and will complete the entire stadium except for the upper deck. It'll go all the way to the scoreboard, and then from the scoreboard to this side of the stadium, adding about 7,000 more seats. They'll increase the capacity here to 60,000. They say it'll be ready before the playoffs. Leahy with the Jets ahead 10-7. To Brooks at the 5. James Brooks to the 38-yard line. Johnny Lynn made the tackle. Nicely done by Brooks, who the last 2 years, the leader in the NFL in all-purpose yardage. He can catch it and he can run it. Timeout. 4:53 left in the half. That can really motor. Roger, great years at Baltimore. Acquired from Seattle by San Diego. He's been here about a week. That's what Fouts needs. Another great receiver. Fouts, a little low to Duckworth at the 48 of New York.
Fouts needed a little bit more time on that one as Joe Klecko, number 73, coming in from the outside. Or is that Marty Lyons? It's Lyons, number 93, who got around and got away from his man and swept Fouts' legs out from underneath him. That's the right foot of Fouts that's hurt. You saw him making sure his cleats were out of the ground. Lyons has been injured. Chip fracture of that ankle, has missed a lot of playing time. Believe me, they're happy to have him back in the lineup.
2nd and 10 from the 38. Over the middle to Joyner, and he fumbles.
That's a fumble. They're going to call it that way.
Jerry Holmes has it for the Jets, and he is to the 50-yard line. So the Jets have their first turnover.
A little bit of extraneous activity going on down behind the recovery of the ball there as Chargers and Jets getting into a little action down there. That's Kellen Winslow, number 80, I believe, that backed in there. 21 Brooks also in there. Maybe we can see what happened. I didn't get a quick look at it. Fouts back will get the ball across to Joyner, who's streaking on the inside. Now Joyner needs to touch both feet to the ground to have a legitimate reception. That's the rule this year. Johnny Lynn stripped it away. A very clean strip. Now the ball can be advanced. It's a fumble on both sides.
And the roughing penalties negate. And it'll be the Jets taking over just inside the 50. So Charlie Joyner stripped away. Johnny Lynn making the defensive play for the Jets. And New York leading 10-7 has the ball in San Diego territory. San Diego, today's game is brought to you by Renault, the one to watch for European technology and affordability. By a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. And by Midas. Trust the Midas touch for all your exhaust and brake needs. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, welcome back to San Diego. 4 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half. The New York Jets, after seeing San Diego score first, have taken the lead 10-7, and on a fumble recovery, have it at midfield with 4:36 left in the half. McNeil. He picks up 7 yards on that quick sweep to the right behind Marvin Powell.
Almost predictable, as the Jets wanted to use that good turf on the outside there to get McNeil to spring loose. But the Chargers doing a good job of shutting it off.
43-yard line. At the 43, second down and 3. Walker and Harmon to the left. Harmon swatted. McNeil again. A first down, and he was close to breaking that one. He's to the 37-yard line. A Jets first down. Another 5 yards for McNeil, who's had a big first half, as we see Lyndon King, 57, trying to fight off the blocker.
Chance to look at the fine linebacker who is really getting a chance to start full time these days. His job to string it out. Did a good job of doing that. But the very quick moves right here. McNeil just exploding up inside. Only runs about a 4.7, but has a gallop and an ability to find those holes that is really unique, Dick.
62 yards for McNeil on 10 carries, so he's averaging 6.2 in this half. First down, Jets. Crutchfield. And he powers off tackle inside the 30-yard line, and a gain of about 8, maybe 9. Well, that's quite a tandem.
That's a little bit frightening as they use that talent. Gaffney coming at you, and again, we talked about motion. The motion will be used to confuse. And, of course, with 2 rookies in the backfield and 2 rookies at linebacking position, they've got to make adjustments as those motion players come across the field. Defenses change. They've got to do a lot of thinking, and it's the thought of Joe Walton that the more thinking they do, the less football they can play.
From the 29, second and about 1.5 yards. Wide open is Walker. Tried to run before he caught the ball. Oh, my.
Well, I think you're probably saying if he had thrown it to me, I would have caught it. Let's let him throw it from ground level. He's going to throw it away from you. But here it comes right here. Todd sees the pressure, gets away from it. Big Hands Johnson lost leverage on this side, something he's not going to be able to do. And there was just too much time, Dick. Wesley had all day. And he'll make that tough catch over there. But he drops the easiest ball he may see all season long.
You don't want those receivers to have too much time to think. But the good news for the Jets is it's still 3rd down and short, 3rd and 1.5 yards. Ooh, surprisingly, Todd to throw. Oh, and I don't think he made the first down.
No, he's going to mark it down short again.
Tom Coombs, number 88, one of the 3 tight ends for the Jets. And Lyndon King, 57, of the Chargers, stopping him.
We talked about injuries. The Jets really don't want to add to that list here today. They've had more than their share so far this season, but Coombs is not up yet as the doctors and trainers out quickly to see what's wrong with him.
That surprised you at all that Walton went to a pass on 3rd and 1.5 yards?
Dick, I like to see a mix of plays in a situation like that, and I enjoy seeing a quarterback and a coach who are willing to go for the pass in a situation like that.
It'll be 4th down and inches when we return to San Diego. Helped off the field. They're looking at that right knee. He took quite a pop from Lyndon King.
King, a real hitter from that outside linebacking position, buried him there.
Kind of rode the weight down on that
Hard
knee.
to see what happened. He's flexing it. I would hope that that's not a serious injury.
We're going to have time to get a word from the National Football League because we're at the 2-minute mark here in San Diego. With the score, the New York Jets 10, San Diego Chargers 7. These are always interesting and important. As a public service by the National Football League. We're at the 2-minute mark, first half, 10-7. New York Jets, 4th down and inches for the Jets. First down and more as Zerking blasting through to the 21-yard line behind the block of Augustiniak. So those two little fire plug backs of the Jets on short yardage do the job.
Got Durking to do everything back, and he did what had to be done on that particular down. The Jets had run to the grassy side of the field. When they've had that ball out in the dirt, they'd gone to the grass almost every time to try and get the footing. They came back against the grain and were able to pick up the first down there. Let's see what they do here with a 1st and 10, Dick.
Clock running, 1:25 left in the half. Jets have run the ball very effectively, and Todd trying to throw it now. Complete to Walker. Oh, is he hit by Tim Fox and bounces to his feet. It'll be 1st and goal for the Jets down on the 6-yard line. They'll mark it at the 7.
That's one of those intimidation hits. And you saw how Wesley Walker came up off the ground. I guarantee you he knew that if he could duck down, pop back up, and walk away, he leaves that defensive back wondering what that's like hitting somebody with their right.
Oh, my.
And checking him. Now, Walker just popped right up off the ground. Fox has got to say, boy, I thought I really leveled that guy.
1st and goal at the 7. 42 seconds left in the half. Jets lead 10-7. Crutchfield in trouble. And he's brought down for a loss at the 9-yard line. The clock runs, and the Jets will call time with 28 seconds. All the clubs have fun in the summer camp, and I know that when you were the Rams, you had various pranksters, but the Jets have a very special trick they like to play on the new people, even the coaches. It's called the Mongoose game, and Chuck Ramsey, the punter, is more or less in charge.
Well, he was the guy they used to set it up. What they had, Dick, was a box, and they would tell everybody that one of the guys had a pet mongoose in this box. He said, now you got to watch out. He said, these things have razor-sharp teeth. Got to be very careful. And, of course, on the box, just a thin little piece of wire, and they would go and look into there. And now, this was all being secretly taped and with a microphone, so we'll be able to see and hear the reaction.
Piece of just fur that made it look like there was an animal in there.
You can't see. There's not much light in there. So you come over and you look inside, and Ramsey was the setup guy. He was the guy that every time they'd bring somebody in there, he'd say, boy, he said, be careful. He said, you should see what they've done to a pencil. Now, we tell you this because we got a hold of that tape, and it shows you the kinds of diversions that the athletes will use through a training camp to get themselves ready.
Well, we'll show it after this play. It's our version of the candid camera. 2nd and goal from the 10. 28 seconds left. Lots of time, and now he throws it away. All right, let's look at it now. Let's go to the Jets locker room and the Mongoose game.
Come on.
Well, that's some of the reactions of the Jets. Those big linemen, they don't run. They just put their hands up. Meanwhile, it's 3rd and goal at the 10-yard line. Batted in the air. Number 90, rookie Bill Elko from LSU. And the Jets will be forced to go for the field goal.
Big play by Bill Elko. Todd thought he had that one on its way to a completion. And the defense drawing a few chairs here. Big Louie going in. They can hear Kelcher. They can hear Lou.
So So Pat Leahy out of Pat Ryan's hold at about the 18, call it a 28-yarder. It's good. And with 14 seconds left, the Jets add to their lead. They were looking for more, but settled for 3 and lead 13-7. So things happy. Another 3 for the Jets, but they've had some smiles earlier in that summer camp. The Mongoose game. Chuck Ramsey setting up his teammates and his coaches.
Let's listen to McNeil now as he finishes laughing.
He's going to have a heart attack. We go back to the coach, Pasquale. Look at, he's got a coffee cup in his head. He's throwing coffee all over himself as he tries to get out of there. Well, that's the kind of thing that happens behind the scenes. We thank the Jets for sharing the fun with us.
Yeah, we do, and they're having fun here in San Diego as they've taken a 13-7 lead. Leahy to kick it off, and of course, even with 14 seconds on the board, you've got to be careful of Dan Fouts and these Chargers. They like to get their hands on the football. They're not afraid to shoot from anywhere.
Brooks and Sherman Smith, the former Seattle Seahawk running back, are deep for the Chargers. With only 14 seconds left, Leahy may just skid one low. No, drives it deep and plenty deep.
Couldn't do it any better.
Out of the end zone, first down for the Chargers back at the 20-yard line. They'll have 14 seconds to match the quarterback's number as Fouts comes on the field.
Dick, it's been an interesting first half. A couple of answers, I think, apparent, at least from the early going here, that the Charger defense is going to improve. We see it here, and if they can keep on that track, they're going to be in good shape.
At Arrowhead Stadium, John Makovic, his club, the Chiefs, have a 7-3 lead over Chuck Knox and the Seahawks. We'll have all the scores for you at halftime. NFL 83. Some interesting game. Couple overtimes today, and some surprises. And Fouts not going to take any chances. The fans won't like that.
When was the last time you saw Dan Fouts take the ball and lay down? They're just going to count it out. Well, I think that's the thing to do, but you rarely see Coryell do that. When he's got the football, he wants to shoot.
Now, that's the end of the first half. The San Diego Chargers scored first to take a 7-0 lead. Fine catch by Duckworth, setting up Muncie's 1-yard drive, but the second quarter belonged to the New York Jets. Todd DeWalker, a 26-yard touchdown throw, a couple of Pat Leahy field goals, and at the intermission here in sunny San Diego, it's the Jets 13 and the Chargers 7. 70 low score for these two teams.
Certainly is. These are two explosive teams, and I think one of the reasons an improved Charger defense. But the other thing we see here is a very level play, good solid play from both the offensive and defensive teams of the Jets. They look very solid in this game, Dick.
NFL 83 halftime activities will continue in a moment. Right now, these messages from your local station.
Sweeps to the right on a pitch out. Vernon Maxwell on a blitz, adjusts his course, comes over and forces the fumble. Johnny Cooks, beginning to pursue, swoops in, picks it up, and goes all the way for the score.
Okay, Marv, thank you very much. Nice to have you with us. There's another look at it as you see the way that the Colts won this ball game. Ball picked up by Johnny Cooks. Touchdown, Baltimore, and they win it in overtime. Lenny?
Harlan Olsen. Now the Super Bowl, 17 Super Bowls, opening day, the Super Bowl winner has lost only once. There's a strong correlation to opening the season with a win and going on to winning the Super Bowl. How about these two teams? Are they Super Bowl caliber in your opinion?
Well, I think they both desperately want to win this game. They're not worried about precedent. They just want to get off to a good start. And I would say, from looking at this first half, Dick, the Jets appear to have the same kind of balance and strength that got them into the one step away from the Super Bowl last year, and an improvement improvement in this Charger defense could well spell problems for the rest of the AFC, because that's what they've been lacking to make that final step and find themselves in the Super Bowl.
So you think those rookies in that San Diego defense will strengthen their team?
I sure like what I've seen so far, and I like the fact that they have more flexibility with that speed in their defensive backfield and some good hitters there.
Meanwhile, the Jets have stopped Dan Fouts, only one touchdown. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Bulls leading San Diego 13-7. And a battle of rookie coaches in Kansas City. Kurt Warner's doing well for Seattle, 90 yards rushing, but Kansas City leads it at halftime 7-3. And a baseball note, the Dodgers lost, the Braves won, so the Dodgers lead is cut to 2.5, and the National League East tightened up as well, and Baltimore won again in the American League East. Let's go back to Dick and Merlin in San Diego.
Thank you, Len Berman. So this 1983 season underway, and certainly not true to form. The old underdogs have come up to show that they can take a bite out of you early. And here it's the Jets, a mild underdog, against the Chargers, leading 13-7, and they have outrushed the home team.
I think perhaps that's the most significant stat on the board, and they have really controlled the game very well by forcing the Chargers to play run and then using a very successful passing game in behind that. The Chargers have not had a good first half in total stats or score.
102 yards passing. That's a feeble amount for San Diego, the way they like to throw the ball. Leahy kicks it off, and we're into the second half. Brooks to the 15. Can't get outside. Well covered. The contained man, Johnny Lynn.
The second half kickoff at the 5-yard line.
So the Chargers, Dan Fouts, will try to generate some offense. He has Chuck Muncie, James Brooks in the backfield with him, or is it going to be Fouts? Perhaps he's late coming off for a moment. Maybe that foot was bothering him, his arch, and that he would not start the second half, but he goes into the huddle now. He'll have Kellen Winslow as one wide receiver, Dwight Scales, and Charlie Joyner, the other two, although at the moment Eric Sievers is going to go with two tight ends, Winslow and Sievers. Masick at center, McKnight and White the guards, and Shield and Gissinger are the tackles. Penalty on the return takes it back to the 10, so San Diego starts deep in the hole. To Muncie. Threw it behind him, and it wouldn't have been good for much anyway. It was well covered by Lance Mell. Second and 10 from inside the 10. Wes Chandler is in the game at the moment. Now Duckworth comes in, and Sievers is out.
Getting a third wide receiver onto the field. Chandler, as we'd indicated, has a sprained foot and really has been very tentative in the way he's used that to plant. Let's keep an eye on him and see what he's able to do.
Sensational year. 1,032 yards in 9 games last season. 8 games, actually, missed one. Same play. Muncie has it. Gets a block from Joyner, and Muncie has a first down at the 25-yard line. Ken Schroy made the hit. Little Charlie Joyner with a block downfield.
Give you an idea of the kind of respect that Wesley Chandler has. He's one-on-one with the corner. Actually gets the corner out there to turn his back. That's Jerry Holmes. And by clearing out that turf, opens things for Muncie. Muncie's not going to see a defender till he gets all the way up. That was Chandler you saw coming into your picture. Here it is. Now look at Holmes is one-on-one with Chandler. He does a good job there. But Chandler had done exactly what he was supposed to do, which was clear out the area.
Oh, he certainly did. Here's Muncie, a little handoff. Breaks a tackle from Lyons and gets about 8 yards. Blinka finally bounced him out of bounds.
Dick, we talked about questions, and again, one of the questions, how long can Chuck Muncie continue to play at the pace that he has played at? He's 31 years old, ran a 4.61 last year. They timed him in the 40 this year, 4.63, has not lost much speed, but over the years has taken a lot of punishment with that body of his. 8 seasons in the NFL, and it has to be a question mark still, although he has certainly run well today. He has not amassed the kind of yardage that he did in a number of games last year.
Muncie given a breather. You saw him kind of windmilling that arm. James Brooks, the only setback. First down. Brooks kept that at second down. And Brooks can't find a hole. Throw broke several tackles and wound up losing. Blinka finally put the closer on him.
But it was a great play by number 77, Kenny Neal, that shut him off to the inside. And Brooks did a brilliant job of cutting back, but of course cut himself right back into a lot of traffic. Going to be third and short. Let's see what Ernie Zampese has up his sleeve. Zampese, the man who sits upstairs and directs this Charger attack.
San Diego goes with the three tight ends, Winslow, Severs, and Houlihan on 3rd and 1 at the 34. Brooks. He's got some room. He might go all the way. 40, 30, 20. He's all the way to the 5-yard line.
Bobby Jackson is down, Dick. Jackson, the man who ran him down from behind, and it looked like Jackson may have injured his wrist or his hand as he dove on the heels of Brooks.
There's Jackson being aided on the sidelines. A 61-yard drop by James Brooks. He caught the Jets in tight looking for the short yardage.
And how often we see this, Dick? The defenders all uptight, expecting the short yardage run. Some excellent blocking.
John Capoletti through the key block.
Great block by number 25, Capoletti. Now watch as Jackson comes in from behind. He's going to dive here. Gets onto the inside, right onto the heels, and came down on his shoulder and his arm.
Might have caught him in the chin as well. It's not 13-13 yet. 16-7. Muncie stacked up, no gain. Rudely denied by Marty Lyons, number 93.
We indicated earlier that Marty's missed a lot of playing time and how happy the Jets were to have him back. That's one reason. He is a very physical tackle. Short yardage there, virtually no gain for the Chargers. They'll face a second, just under 5 yards to the goal line.
Brooks with his longest regular season run of 61 yards in his 3rd year in the NFL. Chandler to the right and Joyner slotted right. Brooks stopped cold short of the 5-yard line. Ken Schroy, number 48, and Lance Mill, 56, collaborating on the stop. And the Jets very proud of their goal line defense, stopping San Diego without a yard on the first 2 tries.
Joe Gardy, talking earlier about his defense, said, you know, we are going to stop people down there. We don't assume they're going to get anything down there. Ken Schroy showing us what he meant there. Good play on the outside as he just would not let Brooks get free to go for that goal line.
Winslow is way out to the right, and Fouts tipped incomplete. So someone at the line of scrimmage denying Fouts, who went for Joyner, and when the pass was tipped, of course, no interference. So the Jets don't allow a yard on 1st and goal at the 5.
3 consecutive big plays from the Jets defense. You watch it here. Fouts standing back calmly, tries to get it up in the air. Ball batted away by the linebacker, Lance Mel, number 56. Another big play by Mel. No chance for Fouts. Bernerska will take a shot at 3.
23-yard attempt. He missed from 46. Rather empty 3, and you could tell from the Charger fans, not much of a cheer. They wanted a touchdown that would have given San Diego the lead. The Jets defense denied, and New York stays on top, 13-10, 11:41 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Well, the San Diego fans are happy. They've pulled within 3, and Bernerska with a 23-yard field goal now is the new all-time San Diego scoring producer as Kurt Springs takes it out to the 30-yard line. Bernerska now with 501 points in his career to break Lance Allworth, the Hall of Fame receiver of San Diego's old mark. There's Bernerska, and he needs one more field goal for 100 successful, and that will give him an NFL accuracy all-time lead. Quite a guy.
He certainly is. We're pleased to see him looking so fit. He's up to 183 pounds and says this is the first time since his rookie year that he's really been healthy.
We saw him at 125 pounds one day.
Yeah.
Lucky to be alive.
They're all up. Faking the blitz. Let's see if they come with it. Nope, dropping back.
McNeil. Raymond McNeil steps out of bounds at the 33-yard line. McNeil, the leading rusher in the first half. And despite a limp, he's 61 yards rushing in the first half. And a gimpy leg.
Bobby Jackson, the word from the bench is that that re-injury of that finger will not keep him out of the game. He's probably got it in some ice there to try and keep it from swelling. But that has to be painful. An already broken finger, and he took a lot of pressure on it as he dove on the heels of James Brooks.
2nd down and 7. McNeil to the 36. Trailing the play was Billy Ray Smith, along with, see, they get to another number. 23 is Danny Walters, the cornerback.
We saw McNeil limp a little bit early in the game, and he is limping progressively. His limp gets progressively worse as we go on here. Dick, I noticed that Bob Gregor is out of the lineup defensively for the Chargers. They certainly don't need another injury. Gregor apparently was hurt just before the half, and Bruce Laird, number 30, has slipped in to take his place.
And Gregor, who's a fine talent, but in each of the last 3 years, he's been out with injuries.
Now they lose a little speed with Laird in there, too.
3rd and 4. Todd. He can run it and will. First down at the 41-yard line. Lyndon King ran him out. Richard Todd, who has scrambled for a couple of first downs.
Todd knew exactly where he had to go for that first down.
3 scrambles for 25 yards. Joe Walton, the 9th head coach in Jets history. He played at tight end at 5'10" and 190 for the Giants and the Redskins, and was a good one.
He was a very bright player, just as he has proved to be a very bright coach.
Crutchfield for about 5 to the 46-yard line. Check on those 2 rookie backers of the San Diego Chargers.
Smith and Green, 54, and Billy Ray Smith, 58. Mike Green, you see Mike coming up to take some of the heat right there, doing a good job but not making the tackle, and Billy Ray Smith getting a piece of the tackle as he came up inside.
2nd and 5 at the Jets 46. Crutchfield again with a huge hole. First down at the Charger 41-yard line. Oh, when he gets up full speed, he's not one you want to challenge head on.
The injuries certainly have not dampened the playing ability and the enthusiasm of that offensive line. You see 2 of the injured players right there, Waldemore and Joe Fields, doing a good job running in behind the blocking of Marvin Powell and Dan Alexander, number 60. Crutchfield just blowing up through there for a big first down.
13 yards on the carry. Crutchfield again with Freeman McNeil on the sidelines, and a sure open field tackle by Tim Fox. Number 1 pick of the Patriots back in '76 out of Ohio State. Played in 4 Rose Bowls. Gastineau hoping that offense stays on the field.
I talked to him. He said that when he was drafted, he actually got a call from the Buffalo Bills and told him that the Bills had drafted him. They said they were going to send tickets to him and the whole thing. And Gastineau said he was all excited, told everybody, and then the Bills called back and said there'd been a mistake. He was still on the board. And about a half an hour later, the Jets called out. Later, the Bills denied the whole thing, said it didn't happen. But Gastineau said, I know it happened. They called me.
Jets got him in the 2nd round. Todd, and again he's got room, but cut off this time by Mike Green. He's short of the first down, out of bounds at the Charger 35. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Todd, who was the leading rusher among quarterbacks in the league a couple of years ago. That's not a statistic that coaches necessarily favor.
Joe Willie Namath, who's here in the stadium, by the way, today, I'm sure left instructions for Todd, one of which was run out of bounds.
It's an interesting coincidence in a small world. Namath from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. They said, well, you're the first one to make it to the NFL. He said, no, Joe Walton, the head coach now of the Jets, was from Beaver Falls. So is Jim Mutchler, fine end at Notre Dame and Baltimore Colts. 3rd and 4. Stop short of the first down is Gilbert. A fine play on Gaffney and almost took the ball in the process. It'll be short.
But let me tell you, that's one of the best catches you'll see in this game or any game. Gaffney took that ball under intense pressure, no reason in the world to hang on to it, and kept it in his hand. Gaffney, one of the surest pair of hands in the NFL. But you take a look at it. Now watch the hit that Gaffney takes, the kind of concentration that he has to have. He's being hit as he touches that football and would not release it. Look at those hands. That's a great play, Dick.
Jets go for it. 4th down, 1.5. It's Durking. He's got the first down at the 30-yard line.
That's 3 times that Walton has gone on the short yardage on 4th down, and he's made it every time. I'd say that's a real confidence builder for this Jet offense, especially for the running game. Good blocking again on the inside, and a good job by Scott Durking, number 25, of finding the opening and going for the first down.
Well, it shows you the depth of this New York Jets offense. The number 1 rusher just 3 years ago in 1980. Scott Durking just used in special situations. Here's the 10th play of this drive. Jets leading 13-10. Ball at the 30 of San Diego. Whoa! Big hand Johnson. And he got more than his hands on Freeman McNeil. Short yardage, maybe a yard. Jets trying to add to their 3-point lead. Let's go to NFL 83.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. Len Berman in New York, updating earlier action today. The Bengals did not roar in Cincinnati. Marcus Allen did. 2 short touchdown runs for him as the Raiders avenged their only regular season loss from a year ago. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Len. Marcus Allen, the leading scorer of the NFL last year. 2 touchdowns today. 2nd down, 10. McNeil. Oh, he's still on his feet and across the 20. Oh, he just burst through that pack of Chargers and has a first down, 11 yards for McNeil, and they're really working on the defensive left side of the Chargers.
You saw Jim Ringo there talking to messenger Derek Gaffney on that play, and they really have kind of shredded over there a little bit on the left side. Again, they like working that side down in there because they've got footing over there, Dick. If they run to their left, they've got to run into that exposed turf. There's just no good footing there. McNeil's doing a brilliant job of keeping his feet on the ground, keeping the drive going.
7th play of this drive. Durking has replaced McNeil. And it's Durking who receives the ball. And he's inside the 15-yard line for about 7 more yards for the Jets. Ray Preston, number 52, made the stop for San Diego. We pause briefly for station identification from San Diego. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 5, WPTV, West Palm Beach.
With Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. The New York Jets leading 13-10. 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, opening of this NFL 83 season. Harmon in motion on 2nd and 3, and Crutchfield blasting into the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Jets.
That's the kind of move you don't expect from a 230-pound back. An exceptional move. Crutchfield starting strong to his right. Now watch the cut here. No hole there. Look at that quick cut and quick acceleration. And now the leg drive. You see, he knew where that first down was, and he went and got it. Put you down in the secondary for the Chargers. You can almost get in on a piece of that tackle yourself.
He gained 3 yards after Woody Lowe hit him sharply from the side to show his power.
Lowe, a fine tackler as well. That is the first down signaled by Red Cashin. And they just managed to get inside the 10. They've got to go the full 10. You hate that offensively. You'd like to have that first down on the 5 or on the 15 so you can get one more going in.
Crutchfield is being helped off the field, so that may have been a costly first down for the second year back from Iowa State. So both McNeil and Crutchfield limping, and this one appears to be more serious.
We'll have to wait to get something back from the sideline as they are helping him down. And again, we indicated that the Jets have suffered from a tremendous number of injuries. They do not need any more people on the injured reserve list or on the injured list, period. No room in the training room as it is.
McNeil, the only back, and he's going all the way for the touchdown. Untouched, Freeman McNeil.
Freeman McNeil, he quiets this great crowd down inside. McNeil finding an opening through there. No rookie linebackers there to say hello to him, and he just strides through cleanly into the end zone. Fine blocking again. Let's look inside. Joe Fields there. Alexander. Brilliant block by Alexander, burying the linebacker. Oh, he had enough room to... He could have taken some of his friends up through there, Dick.
Boy, that's an amazing hole as Leahy adds the extra point. And the Chargers looking for a possible pass, apparently, on 1st and goal from the 9. See McNeil blast up the middle untouched, and the Jets add to their lead with 4:24 left in the third quarter. With us, San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium, the Jets and Chargers, two contending teams, and the Jets have run it so effectively.
They certainly have. It's the running game that's been the key for them, and they've springboarded off of that with a passing game. Opening kick, or that kick, taking its opening and jumping out of the end zone. There's Crutchfield on the sideline. We understand he just had a cramp, and that's, of course, good news to everyone, especially Joe Walton, who doesn't want to lose the kind of power that Crutchfield has demonstrated in this ballgame.
McNeil's leg didn't look all that bad, the way he raced up the middle for the touchdown. The Chargers start from the 20. They've been deep in their own end most of the game.
Maybe that was a Jimmy Brown limp.
Could be. Could be. Jets use 7 minutes to go 70 plays, 70 yards in 14 plays for the touchdown and lead 20-10. Fouts to throw. Interference. That was obvious. Johnny Lynn replacing Bobby Jackson. Hit Chandler too soon.
Well, Chandler obviously is going to be used some in this ballgame. Let's take a look at Chandler as he works on Bobby Lynn. We already know that the penalty is going to be assessed against Johnny Lynn on the play, but there's Cash. And let's see how it took place now. Chandler using his speed again to drive off. A little wrinkle outside. Actually falls down and comes inside. There's the contact. We can call that one.
19-yard penalty. Lynn is replaced now by Kirk Springs, a 3-year man from Miami of Ohio. Muncie the only man back, and it's Muncie on a reverse to the 40-yard line, a gain of only 1 yard. 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter here in San Diego. The Jets with a 10-point lead. Let's go to NFL 83. Big game as the Saints win. 2nd and 9, a screen to Winslow, and he's got running room. 50, 45, and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 40. Kellen Winslow on a tight end screen.
The Chargers can throw an awful lot of offense at you, and that's one of the plays they enjoy coming back with. Winslow, a fine runner after he catches the football. Absolutely amazing for a man his size. A rollout screen at that, as Fouts throws it back against the grain. Good pursuit, opened the way for that screen, and Winslow shows you some halfback moves. Let's see if Charlie Joyner can get a block to help. He's one-on-one there. Charlie's locking up. He said, "You better hurry, Kellen. I can't hold this guy any longer."
Good call. 22 yards on the play. Fouts under pressure. Down the middle to Joyner. That amazing veteran Charlie Joyner, now 35 years of age. He's the 5th oldest wide receiver in NFL history. He just refuses to face his age.
Fouts again. Watch the way he avoids the rush here. Gastineau coming deep. Fouts feels the pressure, just steps up inside and rifles a shot right there to Joyner. He knows where every open man in the field is. Roger Carr said the one thing that's so different about playing here as opposed to being in Baltimore and other places, he said, you never dare let up. Because even if you're the number 4 guy, the number 4 receiver, if you're open, Fouts will find you and get you the ball.
Muncie on first down to the 10, to the 6. Muncie showing his power, nearly 10 yards.
Again, a difference in the philosophy of these two teams. The Chargers using the passing game to set up their running game. A chance to watch number 88 coming to the inside, Holohan. Pete Holohan as a blocker. Now he's in motion. Pins the linebacker inside. That's Lance Mell. One of the key blocks on that play. A chance to use motion. Now he's got to block up high on that play. Can't get on the backside or he'll draw the penalty.
Second down and a yard. Capoletti gets the call, and he is to the 2-yard line. John Capoletti, the former Heisman winner back in 1973 at Penn State, did not play the entire preseason. His knee had surgery in the offseason, slow and responding. But John is such a valuable all-purpose back. He does all the things right. He's not brilliant. He won't give you the long run, but he blocks well, and he'll get you the short yardage, as he did there, first and goal at the 2-yard line.
And he does not make mistakes in there. He won't cost you yardage. Said that knee blew up on him last week, but he was hoping it would stay down this week and let him get some playing time.
Muncie is back in. He likes to run left, but he'll go straight up the middle here and score!
Dick, it will show on the record that he ran through the arms of Greg Buttle. But we got to tell you that Buttle has a right arm injury, and he's got a bicep tendon. He cannot use full strength in that right arm. And I'll tell you, it's hard enough to tackle Muncie with 2 strong arms, let alone with that kind of injury. Looks like he missed it.
A very critical miss as Venerska hits the upright, and instead of being within a field goal of tying the Jets, that missed extra point makes it 20-16. He hit the upright.
And again, I think perhaps the snap had something to do with it. The holder had to reach way out to get that one. We told you before that Dennis McKnight, number 60, is starting this ball game. The starting assignment that he had not really anticipated. He's had to go in there and play, and I think it's made it difficult for him to concentrate on the snap.
So Muncie caps an 80-yard drive in 6 plays, but Venerska misses the extra point, and the Jets lead 20-16. 1 minute remaining, third quarter. Kicks off to the Jets. 20-16, New York leads. Johnny Hector, he had a brilliant run in the first half. And he can't get away this time, down at the 25-yard line. Let's go back to that missed extra point. Could be so critical in the final outcome, Merlin.
Dick, we mentioned again, it takes all 3. It takes a good center and a good hold. Now watch the holder. Luther is going to have to reach out for this snap. He leans way out, gets a hold of it, brings it back in. But look at what happens to the seams. The seams of the ball are on the outside, right there. I don't know if that bothered Bernerska's kick or not, but from that distance, he should be able to compensate for a kick for a snap like that.
That's a bad sound when the kicker hears ball against middle. Hits the upright. For the first time at home under Don Coryell, Coryell has been perfect 5-0 on the road as the head coach of the Chargers. It's to open the season here at Jack Murphy Stadium, but trails the Jets 20-16. Jets take over at the 25. And here comes McNeil. Down for a loss. There was Big Hands Johnson who really messed up the play. He had invaded in and forced McNeil to run inside.
Johnson won't take too long to get comfortable at that position. He's a fine football player. Missed some training camp, held out for a while, and finally just decided he better get in and play some football. And they missed him. They're glad to have him back in there. He'll be a good end. He has good movements out there. Said the most difficult thing was on the pass rush. The guy is going with you. He's dropping back with you as opposed to trying to take you on the line.
So the Jets have not been so successful on opening day. 1-9 in the last 10. Second down. complete to Walker, who ducked out of bounds right at the yardsticks at the 34.5, as Todd had to throw in a hurry.
Well, you haven't heard people question Todd's courage. They question at times his ability to stand up under the fire, but he stood in there that time, knew he was going to take the shot, he delivered the ball on target, and Woody Lowe leveled him, but not until the pass had been completed.
And with a guy like Walker available, you know sooner or later you're going to get big yardage. In his career, Wesley Walker, with 210 catches, averaging over 20 yards, those 200-plus catches. He has a touchdown today. 3rd and inches, and Durkin doesn't make it this time. For the first time, San Diego stopping the short yardage blast of Scott Durkin.
The Chargers caught the Jets. They were shifted up into a heavy alignment on the front, and they were shifting in just as the ball was snapped. I'm sure they destroyed the blocking scheme, made the good stop. They'll force the kick as we end the 3rd quarter.
With the score, the Jets 20, San Diego 16, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Quarter here in San Diego, California. The New York Jets have been stopped on 3rd and short, and on 4th and 2. It'll be Chuck Ramsey from Wake Forest. The punter to James Brooks. He's back at the 20-yard line of San Diego. Jets lead 20-16. End over end. Brooks comes up to the 33. Fumble! And the Jets have recovered at the 31-yard line.
Shades of
Marion Barber, number 31.
Shades of the Miami Dolphin game last year. 2 critical fumbles by Brooks in that ball game, and you see Barber coming off. Let's look at the play here. A short kick, an end-over-end kick, and Brooks just tried to get off and run with it before he had control of it. No way to do that, and the Jets very quick to pounce on the football, give themselves an opportunity in Charger territory to expand their lead, Dick.
Actually, technically a muff. He could not have run with that ball, but the Jets will say thank you nevertheless at the 31 of San Diego. They lead 20-16. Freeman McNeil only one back behind Todd. Complete to Mickey Schuler, tight end, and he is to the 22-yard line. So Schuler picks up good yardage on 1st down. Let's switch now from San Diego to New York. The Jets trying to add to their 4-point lead, 20-16, just underway in the 4th quarter. 2nd down and less than a yard. McNeil tripped up, diving to the 20, and that appears good enough for the 1st down. McNeil working on a 100-yard game in the opener. Today's game brought to you by Mazda. Invites you to experience the low price Mazda B2000 Sundowner. By Premium Hams Beer, the beer refreshing as the land of sky blue waters. And by Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic. New York Jets with a 1st down inside the San Diego 21-yard line. New head coach Joe Walton looking for a win in his 1st game at the helm. Flanker screen to Walker. Does a nice job of stepping around the tackler and moving inside the 15-yard line.
What a great move Walker put on Gil Bird. Bird read the play well, came up. Walker started outside and broke it down inside. Just a brilliant play. A chance to look at the 2 in isolation. Bird did a good job of reading the play. Now watch Wesley go outside and wait for his blocking to arrive. Marvin Powell just tapped Bird just enough to spring Wesley inside. Made a big play before he's finally run out by 76 Keith Ferguson.
2nd down and 2 at the Charger 13. The Jets lead 20-16 early in the 4th quarter. Same play. And it works again. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers and the National Football League is prohibited.
And again, we go right back to the right side. Wesley Walker flanked out again. Starts up at Bird, freezes him just long enough to get the action going again. Bird says, you got inside last time, I'm going to keep you outside this time. Wesley says, okay, I'll get down inside the 10.
First and goal at the 7. Well, the Chargers were down there. First and goal at the 5. The Jets made him kick a field goal. McNeil. Oh, you could hear the pads pop as McNeil gets all the way to the 2-yard line.
And the San Diego defense has spent a lot of time chasing Freeman McNeil. McNeil did a great job of setting up the blocks, dipped inside, pulled the attention again of young Gil Bird, who's getting all his action. Let's look at that offensive line block as they pull out. 79, Marvin Powell. He's coming up on Bird. Look at the setup right there. He freezes the defensive back. Actually, he made the block for Powell, even though Powell didn't hit the man. When Bird dove inside at the little bite that he gave him, able to get outside for the yardage.
The ball is inside the 2, second and goal. Durking. Oh, what a hit by Bird, number 22, as he came up from the corner. Dan Fouts was commenting yesterday at practice, Merlin, about Gil Bird. He says he reminds me of a young Kermit Alexander. He really will force the run and yet has the speed to cover the pass.
Well, he hasn't shown any fear. Watch him here. He gets down to the ground, and he goes head-to-head with Scott Durking, who's not afraid to bash heads with anybody. He stops him short. It'll be third and just under 2 yards to go. A big down for the Jets. Big down for the Chargers, too, Dick.
Crutchfield is in there. He's lined up at fullback with Durking on the left side. Crutchfield. Is he in? They haven't marked it yet. No, they stopped him just outside the goal line.
Now let's climb down inside Joe Walton's head. On 3 different occasions, Walton has had a 4th and short, has gone for it and made it. Now he's got a 4th and short, just outside of the goal line. And again, Walton's going to go for it.
A field goal would give the Jets a 7-point lead. Walton wants to put it over a touchdown difference.
And what a tremendous boost this Charger defense would get if they could hold the Jets out on this play.
Crutchfield, touchdown. Now Joe Walton on 4th and inches goes for the touchdown, and Crutchfield presents it to him.
Crutchfield apparently having cramp problems again as they're helping him off the field. Let's watch the play from ground level. Watch Crutchfield dive over the top, bounces a couple of times in the process, but rolls comfortably into the end zone. And the kind of reaction he gets from his coach, who goes for it on 4th down, he's 4 for 4 today. I guess you can afford to say, okay, we got another one.
Pat Leahy kicks the extra point to give the New York Jets an 11-point lead. So the fumble by James Brooks, recovered by the Jets at the 31, becomes 7 more points for New York. And the score now reads 27-16, 12 minutes left in the game. All right, Bell, and with that Rams win, John Robinson, the former coach at the University of Southern California, he celebrates successfully his debut in the NFL. Leahy to kick off, 27-16 Jets. Line drive to toward Brooks. And it works as that knuckleball just skidded away, and it'll be the touchback again. Oh, you can't fault Leahy's kicking duties today. He has made it tough on the Chargers to get out of their own end.
Dick, behind the battle on the field, the battle of wits going on between these two men. Ernie Zampese upstairs for the Chargers will be calling their plays. And Joe Gardy, the very intelligent defensive coach for the Jets, calling the defenses. And, you know, they told Joe, they said, Joe, this is like a chess game. You know, you're going up against Zampese and the great Coryell. He said, boy, I hope not. He says, I don't know how to play chess. He says, I'm a hearts and pinochle man myself.
Well, so far that's worked out. 11-point lead for the Jets. Fouts to Joyner. And the veteran has what appears to be close to a first down. At the 30, Johnny Lynn made the tackle. About 10 yards in the play for Joyner, who started today with 531 receptions. That's number 9 all time. And he's just 11 behind, starting today, Lance Allworth, number 8. Charlie Joyner came here from Cincinnati. Coy Bacon going to the Bengals back in '76. He has 4 catches today to lead the Charger receivers. The first down. Muncy about 6 yards out to the 36. Lance Mel from Penn State. Number 56 made the tackle.
Kellen Winslow coming in, and motion here is going to get into the blocking act, but Kellen's not going to get as much as he'd like to as he gets hopped across by their Mel, doing a good job of getting back on his feet after Kellen had tried to cut him. Good play by Lance Mel, number 56.
But off balance and having to take the full force of Muncie's charge, Mel is assisted off the field. Does not appear to be serious, but has to come out. He's replaced by Ron Crosby. Roger Carr in the ball game for the first time for the Chargers, number 81. He's way out to the left, out of your picture, bottom of the screen. And they throw to Winslow, one-handed catch. Oh, and Winslow to the 48 of the Jets. Oh, what talent. 15 yards. Not many would have caught that ball.
Just stuck one of those big mitts out there like a tennis racket and scooped it up one-handed. Fouts able to fly the ball out to him comfortably. Winslow on that last play just quickly to the outside. And
Did you see how he looked that ball into that hand, though?
He looked at it, he said, Pete Rozelle. Right here.
NFL.
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow, what a property. Now in his 5th year in San Diego. First down at the Jets 48. Draw play to Muncie. Oh, nice running by Muncie. Well, there are two superb individual efforts back-to-back. Winslow catching and Muncie eluding and running.
When coaches around the league are asked the question, which is the most talented team in the league? Which team has the most talent? Two of the teams that are prominently mentioned are these two teams, and you've seen the reason today with the kind of quality performance at skilled positions that we have seen. Winslow, great catcher, but not such a great blocker on this play, Dick. And he's not able to get Johnny Lynn. Had he gotten Johnny Lynn, that would have been an even bigger gain for Muncie.
First down at the 38. 10 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. The Chargers trail by 11. Fouts trying to get more. It's to Dwight Scales, and a first down at the 25. Johnny Lynn made the tackle.
What a great play by Dan Fouts. Fouts getting pressure. In fact, was hit, I believe, by the end on that play. I think Gastineau got a piece of him. Still could come back. He faked once and got hit and came back and threw the ball right on target to Dwight Scales.
Harlan, have to talk about number 75, Andrew Gissinger, the right tackle, replacing Russ Washington. Obviously, he's done some things well because Fouts has been well protected.
Well, Dick, we'll talk about a couple of people on that offensive line, and Drew Gissinger is certainly one that has done a great job today, and in his responsibilities on Gastineau.
Flag down, and I believe it was a face mask, although Kirk Springs, it was accidental. What a play made. He fought off two blockers and still made the tackle, but I believe in the process got a hold of the face mask of Muncie. But it might, yes, there it is.
Face mask. Let's talk about two other young men. Dennis McKnight.
Wait a minute, it's against the Chargers face mask.
Let's watch it here. Maybe Muncie used the face mask or the blocker.
He may have.
There it is. There's the blocker is using it right there. Is that Dennis McKnight?
No, it's Muncie pulling Springs down.
Oh, okay. He's not supposed to do that.
That's an unusual call.
Yeah, you saw Springs getting up and grabbing his own mask. Let's see if we can get a better look at it here. Dennis McKnight, the blocker, coming out on Springs right there, and it is Muncie. You see him reaching in. You see the head pop to one side. Good call by the officials.
Red Cashin's microphone not working. Penalty is declined. It'll be second down and 12.
Okay, they're going to take the loss on the play. Dick, we started to talk about the offensive lineman for the Chargers. Somebody else who's done a great job in there, Masick. Masick's been in there. He's not been able to practice. He has a back that has just given him fits all week. He's recovering from shoulder surgery a few weeks back. He's been in there the whole game and has done a great job inside.
Masick the center. Second and 12. Again, good protection for Fouts. Underneath the Stevers. And the tight end is to the 19-yard line. That'll be about 4 yards shy of the first down. 8 yards for Sievers. They call him the Jack Armstrong of this team. He's one of those guys that doesn't cause any trouble, quiet, intelligent, productive, and tough.
He certainly is. And he's on the right end of this pass. Drives off through the block there. gets a chance to get inside. Fouts is so tough, Dick. Roger Carr said something. He said, I've been here a week. I've never seen him throw the ball when I've caught it. He said, I turned around. The ball was waiting for him.
Big play for the Chargers, trailing by 11, 3rd and 4. Man open. Flag is down, however. Winslow has it at the 12-yard line, and we may have holding on San Diego.
Gastineau doing a little bit of plotting there, and we may well have one on Drew Gissinger on that right tackle's position.
Gonna call it back.
And that's a shame. That was a fine play. Fouts just about got crushed in the aftermath of that one. Marty Lyons, 93. We've seen some of Ben Rudolph in there today. The depth of this defensive line for the Jets quite impressive, and that's one place they've got some football players.
Red Cashin's microphone not working. You know, the problem now for San Diego, the pressure on them, Merlin, is the fact that with that missed extra point down here with 11-point deficit and 8.5 minutes left, a field goal can't help them, where otherwise a field goal would put them within a touchdown of a tie. So they have to go for something big.
Now, Dick, if you've got to give one quarterback and one offensive unit in the league a short time to get points on the board, this is the team. Those lightning bolts on their helmets will say quite a bit for the way they can get you.
Fouts going deep for Duckworth. Touchdown! Bobby Duckworth, he's made 2 catches, one for a touchdown, and one a spectacular catch that set up the other.
Amazing. I talked to Bobby Chandler. Chandler said, you sometimes are able to throw the bad pass and get the touchdown where the good pass gets you in trouble. Jesse Johnson, 27, had Duckworth covered all the way. The ball was underthrown. Duckworth stopped. Johnson ran by, and he got a touchdown.
29 yards on the play. Benerska's trying for point. Oh, he just barely got that one in there. Or no, he didn't. It was wide to the left. So Benerska, who has had trouble kicking to the right, that time made sure he didn't, and he hooked it wide left.
Let's look at the snap and the hold again and see who is responsible. Again, a little bit wide on the snap, and Benerska sure he wasn't going to kick that one to the left. Just scoops it out. Oh, he pulled that one. He hooked that one, Dick.
27-22 the score. Bobby Duckworth, his first NFL score.
Out of a nickel defense. Dickey reads it, finds James Lofton downfield, hits him as Steve Brown falls down and can't stay with Lofton. Lofton takes it in. Green Bay wins 41-38 in overtime.
Marv Levy, and it's a pleasure to welcome the former Kansas City coach to our NBC crew. We had an early kickoff here. San Diego made the tackle deep in Jets territory, but it's called back.
Benerska has to wait for the official to turn him loose. Went ahead and kicked off on his own, and I believe they're going to make him kick it again. Spring's tackle just got it off.
Ernest Jackson made a good play.
I got to believe that Benerska is so upset about the way he's kicked on extra points today that he just was not looking downfield. He went ahead and kicked that one to get it away.
Rolf Benerska, in his career, has missed only 7, make that 21 extra points. Last year missed 2 all season. He's missed 2 today in the opener. Dan Fouts with a touchdown throw. And the Jets lead cut to 5. Actually, the second miss of the extra point really didn't matter.
It certainly doesn't, Dick. They've got to get a touchdown anyway. And that's the man that they will count on to do it. As the Chargers huddle up again to say, that's a warm day like today. You don't need extra kickoffs. I think your body gets whipped enough by the end of the day without going down again on a kickoff.
8 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game, and it's certainly been an entertaining one, as expected in San Diego. The Jets lead 27-22. The last 4 or 5 possessions have all led to scores. Either side. Hector near side, Springs far side. Benerska, this one will count. Gets a dying Quayle to the 12. At the 7 is Springs. 30. Out in the open, it's at the 40. Benerska in pursuit at the 50. Springs all the way to the 30-yard line of San Diego. Kirk Springs.
63 yards, and you get a very loud, roaring move from these fans who don't understand why it was called back. Benerska running for his life to try and get a hold of Springs, could not catch up. They did finally push him out of bounds, but a costly mistake for the Chargers special unit.
Benerska doesn't have the speed, even though he has the effort to catch Springs, and that extra point could be critical, Merlin, for this reason, that if the Jets were forced to go for a field goal in this situation, had the extra point been good by Benerska, that would give them only a 7-point lead. But now a field goal would be 8 points. Fans are unhappy. First down at the 30. Todd throws it away. That time Bird, the youngster, has gone to school on that play. That's the third time they've called it. It's worked twice, and Todd wisely saw Bird pressuring Walker and threw it over Walker's head.
Good reactions by Todd. Had he put that one into Wesley's hands, I think Bird might have got it, and you'd have said goodbye to it. Young man with good speed. He's about a 4.5, not as fast as his counterpart on the other end, Walters, but he can run.
Chanting defense on 2nd and 10. McNeil, the only running back. Freeman McNeil with 92 yards. He's close to 100 now as he's near the 20-yard line. Freeman McNeil.
Now, the one thing the Jets have showed us, have demonstrated, certainly with regularity, is the way they can run the football and the kind of balance that they have offensively. McNeil, who continues to limp a bit, certainly not bothered in performance, made 2 brilliant cuts there, just back twice.
Benerska shaken up a bit as he made that dive on the tackle. That last run by McNeil, 9 yards, gives him 101 for the day. It is 3rd and 1. Augustiniak and Durking are behind Todd. And it is Mike Augustiniak from Purdue. In fact, they're both ex-Boilermakers, who has the first down at the 17-yard line.
Benerska not asked to run at full speed. In fact, I would question when he last had to run at full speed. May indeed have strained a muscle, and that would be a costly loss to these Chargers to lose their valuable kicker.
And another Charger is shaken. Gil Bird comes off the field, and he's holding a shoulder or an arm.
We talked about the injuries. Rick McDonald, the trainer, right there to say, wait a second, you take a play, you can go back in, don't worry about it.
6:47 left in the game. Todd looking for 6. He's got it. Freeman McNeil. McNeil about to spike it, decided, I don't know, maybe I better not. 17-yard score for McNeil. He has had a big day.
And I'd say that's the first time all day that they've had what looked like an easy touchdown. They really have earned their other touchdowns the hard way today. On that particular play, they got an easy one. Tim Fox finally in to stack him up. But McNeil cutting in behind those linebackers may have been able to pull him up inside. Number 54, Billy Ray Smith, just got too far outside in his coverage. McNeil cutting across the middle, found the opening and got the touchdown.
And Leahy adds the extra point, and the Jets lead is back to a dozen as Kirk Springs' 63-yard kickoff return sets up an 18-yard touchdown. Todd to Freeman McNeil. McNeil making sure that Kirk Springs' long kickoff return was not wasted. 18 yards from Richard Todd, and the Jets lead 34-22. 6:43 left in the game. Of course, so that San Diego offense. The Jets know this game is still in doubt. Sherman Smith to close to the 25-yard line. The ex-Seahawk tackled by Rusty Gilbo of the Jets.
And Dick, 2 big special teams plays by the Jets. The recovery of the fumble by Brooks, and then the long return leading to scores on that board and making this man's job a lot more difficult. Dan Fouts in there looking at 6:33 on the board, looking at a deficit that's going to require a couple of touchdowns and saying, all right, guys, let's get it going. And I'll tell you, nobody, as I said said before, I'd rather put the job in the hands of that man right there.
14 for 24, 238 yards for Fouts today. It's below his norm. Look at that arm. What a throw. Wes Chandler, so with this game needing the big play, Don Coryell has been forced to go to Chandler despite his injury. 20 yards on that catch.
And I've got to believe that Chandler said, look, put me in there. I can do something. I would be concerned about that. You can't afford to lose that man for the whole season, and he'll go in there and run full speed because that's what his training is. That's how he got hurt before coming into a ball game. I think I was watching Gissinger on that last play on Gastineau. Gastineau drove him right back past Fouts. Fouts stepped out behind him and threw that pass.
First down, Fouts as a man. Bobby Duckworth, and what a job Duckworth has done today. 3 catches and all for big yardage, including a touchdown, his first in the NFL. He was a former decathlete in Arkansas as a youngster in high school.
Good protection for the quarterback. Mason coming over to provide some alternate pickup, but what a perfect pass. Lofted it over the head, and they've really been picking on that left side of the Jets defense. Bobby Jackson, of course, with that finger injury, has not been in there. Kirk Springs, number 21, over there at that corner position right now, and they have really done some chewing on that defense since Jackson came out.
From the 33 with 5:51 left in the game, Fouts down the middle to Joyner. And a foul on Ray. He apologizes, but that will cost the Jets on the ensuing kickoff. And just like that, Dan Fouts, 3 plays. First to Chandler, 21. Then to Duckworth, 22. And a touchdown to Joyner, 33 yards. And in less than a minute, the Chargers have a touchdown.
The great quarterbacks feel the rush. They know when they can find an opening in between it. Fouts steps up and throws a perfect strike. You can't give these Chargers time, or they'll come back and eat your lunch, just as Fouts did there. And Joyner, I'm afraid, hurt his shoulder on that one, Dick. Looks like he came down on his elbow and may have injured his shoulder. They're questioning him on the sideline. Let's hope he's not injured. That would be a real blow to the Chargers. What a great concern for both teams on the basis of injuries. Charlie looks pretty relaxed. Let's hope he's not injured.
This has become part of the drama today. He's missed 2. There it is, right down the middle.
Another look at that big scoring play. Watch Fouts. Watch the way Fouts gets away from the rush here. Rudolph on the right. Flecko coming in, 73. He just steps up, finds an opening, and throws a strike.
And with 5:45 left, and remember, San Diego will kick off with a penalty against the Jets. It's a 5-point game. 29, the Jets lead. Now, after the 15-yard penalty against Ray for hitting Joyner in the end zone, the Chargers will kick off from the 50, and an ideal time to try an onside kick.
And you better believe the Jets are aware of that as they put 5 men up short, 4 right behind them close by. And with another team ready to accept the onside kick, let's see if the Chargers go ahead and gamble or if they kick it away.
Why not try it?
You don't lose that much, Dick. The return might be up to the 20. If you kick it into the end zone, it comes to the 20 anyway. Let's see if they're thinking with you. Yes, they are. But okay.
Schuler tried the lateral but held on to it and wisely saw at the 25-yard line.
Now that was an onside kick. What he tried to do, I think, was bounce it off one of those offensive linemen. Kicked it low and hard, trying to hit one of the offensive linemen.
So Dan Fouts puts the pressure on the Jets because he scored a 75-yard drive in 3 plays, taking only 48 seconds. So plenty of time left. 5:38. The Jets have the ball, and here's where that running game that's been so outstanding all day needs to consume the clock.
And also, here's where the Chargers have lost ball games in the past. With their defense on the field, they have not been able to take the ball away when they needed it. Let's see what they can do today.
The Jets lead by 5. Freeman McNeil, he's over 100 yards today. He gains about 3. Maybe 4 before King can drag him down. So from the drama here at San Diego where the Jets lead, let's check elsewhere. Back to NFL 83.
Dick, let's track the pennant races in the American League.
Here on NBC on Tuesday night. 2nd and 5 for the McNeil picked up 5 when it appeared to be 3. Here's Freeman McNeil again inside to the 33-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Good pursuit by the Chargers. Freeman McNeil, 3 straight 100-yard rushing games to open the season. In 82, and he's opened 83 with a 100-yard start.
Joe Walton going with a 2 tight end control offense here and just trying to chew that clock up a piece at a time. 4:17, 4:16, and ticking. He needs a first down here. He does not want to kick it away.
Big play, 3rd and 2. Jet to another, and Gaffney has it at the San Diego 38-yard line. Oh, it's great to be good, but it sure doesn't hurt to be lucky.
Number 83, Jerome Barkham, had his feet come out from underneath him. They tried a little wrinkle here on Big Hands Johnson. They got plenty of time to throw, but Todd threw behind the receiver. The ball tipped away by Barkham right into the waiting arms of Derek Gaffney, who takes it out of bounds. You're right, Dick. I'd rather be lucky than good anyway. And, well, you need some of those kind of breaks if you're going to win football games.
And that puts the Jets close to field goal range, or perhaps in it already. And because of the missed extra points by Benerska, a field goal would give the Jets an 8-point lead. 3:58 left. McNeil. Boy, is he taking some punishment. He has been a workhorse today. Freeman McNeil, that whirlpool will feel good. That was his 22nd carry. Now let's go to NFL 83.
All right, Dick, let's check.
We're at 2nd down and 8 for the Jets. Outside the 35 of San Diego. Todd looking for Walker. He's there, but the pass is long. And Gil Bird did close ground after Walker had about a step and a half on him. Bird closed in, and the pass was long.
Dick, even though the Jets have been impressive on offense here today, they really have had to earn their way against this Charger defense. And their numbers will show well for them. But I have the feeling that this Charger defense, with a little seasoning, and if they can stay away from injuries, is going to be much, much improved before this season is finished.
Don Coryell takes out those 2 rookie linebackers, Green and Smith, puts in an extra defensive back. Bob Greger, he's back in there. That's good news. To Durking, and he's caught by Lyndon King for a loss. And that forces the Jets out of field goal range, we would think, as the longest ever by Leahy is 49, and the line of scrimmage now is around the 40. So Chuck Ramsey comes in to punt, and with 2:57 left and all the timeouts remaining, San Diego fans say, well, we got the offense for it.
They certainly do. But right now they need to make sure they get the ball comfortably into their possession and a few extra yards if they can try it. Let's see whether they'll decide to try and kick for the corner or whether they'll go just into the end zone and let the Chargers take the ball on the 20.
Joe Walton not at all happy. He was hoping to get that field goal that would all but cinch the victory. James Brooks drifts back to the 10. Don Coryell's offense, you know, they're eager and they're patting each other on the back along the Charger sideline.
Dick, looking down on that sideline, I've never seen more colorful outfits than these 2 coaching staffs have on. I think we're going to have to put those in our all-outfit list for the year. Matching green and white on that sideline, and on the other sideline, the blue and yellow. I'll tell you, it's impressive. Right out of a
Paris shop, these 2 coaching staff.
And we'll have to give Sid Brooks, the equipment manager on the Charger side, the edge, though. He's got his ball boys in matching outfits down there.
Ramsey with 10 men up for San Diego, and Brooks at the 10. They'll just try to keep that ball toward the sideline. A flag is down. Brooks down at the 11-yard line. A very crucial penalty. We'll see against whom at the 41-yard line.
Well, barring a personal foul.
Holding is the first signal, but against whom?
put it this way, the Cashin's drawing a crowd down there. Against the
Oh,
Chargers.
my. So the Jets will keep the ball.
What a costly error. The third critical special teams error by the Chargers today. Fumble by Brooks. A long kickoff return by Springs. And now a turnover is negated by a special teams holding penalty.
But doesn't that make you wonder why were they trying to block the punt there anyway and set up a situation where there could have been a penalty? They could have run into the kicker and almost did. They were going to get the ball anyway.
Now, wait a minute. No, it's not. Okay, apparently the penalty after the kick, so they don't lose the turnover.
Oh, all right.
But they're going to mark it down.
Well, the flag was thrown before the ball was kicked, so that we're a bit puzzled, and maybe we can get some help from the NFL officials that are here in the press level. So apparently it was ruled after the kick. Chargers start with the ball on the 5-yard line with 2:49 left, and here goes Fouts in trouble, but throwing long for Duckworth. He's almost got it again.
He's out of bounds.
Flag down. The flag is down. He may have been because he went out of bounds, came back in.
Well, the hat went down first. The hat went down first, which indicates that the receiver had indeed gone out of bounds, but there may have been a penalty to add to that on the sideline.
That was, but you cannot catch the ball if you've gone out of bounds.
Receiver was out of bounds, came back in and touched it, loss of the down.
So it's as if no play.
So just a reinforcement then from the flag after the play.
Defensive tackle. You watch those sidelines. I didn't know you had that kind of vision.
You got to see it all, Dick. Let's look at the end of it. You'll see it right there as he comes back in to get a hand on the football and almost get it into his grasp. And of course, the Jets aware that he got out of bounds.
From his own end zone, Fouts to Chandler, intercepted. Darrell Ray, no, it's Johnny Lynn who's out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Lynn from UCLA.
A very quiet stadium. Dan Fouts has delivered that football under tremendous pressure, and we ought to indicate that the Jets really had the heat on him the last couple of plays. Underthrew his receiver, put it right in the hands of Johnny Lynn, and if they can get some points here, it may be academic, Dick.
All they need is 3.
Watch the pressure here on Fouts as he's bumped into by Masick, his center, and that really, I think, threw him off. It was his own man under the pressure of the rush that bumped him. Ball thrown short, as we said. Nice catch, though. Nice interception. Credit to the defense there. Let's see what they can do with it.
And Merlin, he had Wes Chandler open, and that bump did take a little steam out of his throw. That was a good call. First and goal at the 8 as Lynn has set up Todd, and that'll take almost a miracle for that Charger defense. They need a fumble, and they're not going to get that. McNeil is to the 1-yard line. It appeared that he was going to score again. Scored earlier on a charge up the middle. He has 2 touchdowns today. He's rushed for over 110 yards. He's caught passes effectively. What a game for Freeman McNeil. Let's pause briefly. Station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 5, WPTV, West Palm Beach.
Freeman McNeil has put the ball on the 1-yard line as we're down to the 2-minute warning in San Diego with the New York Jets leading the Chargers 34-29, and the Jets are 1 yard away from putting it away. Again this year at the 2-minute warning, we're going to be treated to some of the most exciting finales in NFL history. They're called fantastic finishes, and here's one of them.
Minnesota. Bud Grant senses victory with a 4-point lead over Dallas. The Cowboys are down to their last play from scrimmage. But that man is Roger Staubach. And that pass, known today as the Hail Mary, is complete to Drew Pearson. Dallas wins 17-14.
Back at Jack Murphy Stadium, tough day for Rolf Bernurska. You don't see him miss 2 extra points in a season. He's missed 2 today. But that's not been the difference. The New York Jets, with 2 minutes left, are 1 yard away from another touchdown. And they've got it as somersaulting in is Mike Augustiniak. What a guy. A walk-on in college at Purdue, a free agent pick as a pro. No one's ever really wanted him, but once he's been seen, they always find a place for Augustiniak, and he has his first touchdown of the year.
Certainly, the the kind of success the Jets have earned today against the Chargers. A lot of games are lost rather than won. This certainly is one that I believe has been won by the Jets today, and they've done it with tough, hard-nosed play on both offense and defense.
Leahy looking for the Jets' 41st point. And it's 41-29 with 1:57 left. And again, very few teams could you say, well, there's less than 2 minutes left and this game is over. But no, you really can't say that with that San Diego offense. Who knows? Now, in the meantime, we want to keep you abreast of baseball and football, and perhaps some of you have missed some scores. Let's go back to NFL 83. It is Len Berman, as about half the crowd headed toward the exits. But a minute 57 remain, and Merlin, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Chargers have all their timeouts left.
I don't remember them calling any, Dick.
The board shows one. They've spent one. 2 remaining for San Diego. That is not necessarily official. New York Jets 41, San Diego Chargers 29. It'll be the highest scoring game other than one, Green Bay and Houston on this day. Well, Leahy trying to place the ball on the sideline, kicks it out of bounds, 5-yard penalty, no time consumed.
Tim Fox,
young Mike Green.
I've been a little glown. Billy Ray Smith. You can understand why. They wanted this one badly, and they prepared hard for it. It's tough to come out of the chute a loser.
Let's see, next week, San Diego. They play Seattle. No, Seattle goes to New York. It'll be the Jets and the Seattle Seahawks. And the Chargers will play at Kansas City. Will be at Arrowhead. And Kansas City currently beating Seattle. 17-13, the Seahawks closing ground in the fourth quarter. They were down by 17-3.
A couple of new coaches there testing their wares. Chuck Knox trying to get his troops back on the scoreboard and into the ball game.
Ernest Jackson, number 41, has joined James Brooks as the second deep back. Leahy has been out. There's Jackson. They call him Popeye. He's from Texas A&M. Down the middle is toward Jackson. Ooh, a wicked bounce. Jackson to the 26-yard line. Fumble, but when he hits the ground, ball belongs to San Diego. We have 1:52 remaining in the game. The Chargers trail by 12 back to New York. That's going for Chandler, and out of bounds, incomplete.
Fouts forced here to go deep quickly. Needs to fight the clock as much as the opponent on the field. Has got to get a quick touchdown here or hope for a chance to get the ball back on an onside kick. You'll see him going deep. You'll see him trying to utilize the skills of those deep receivers, but he's hurt badly by not being able to use the speed of Chandler. And Chandler, of course, as we said, nursing a bad foot, simply cannot be effective. He's been used mostly today as a decoy, although they have tried to go to him on occasion.
So that graphic Fouts for the 31st time over 300 yards passing, looking for more, and this is Kellen Winslow. It'll be 3rd down and 10. And good news for the New York Jets. Bobby Jackson, number 40, is back in the game. He was in considerable pain when he appeared to re-injure, or at least bump that broken finger, tackling James Brooks from behind. And you see how heavily bandaged that hand is now. What courage. There he is back in the game, despite the fact it's 12 points. They tried to replace him, but you saw Fouts pick on with Springs and Lynn and Jefferson, who all tried to play Jackson's spot. So Bobby Jackson's in there at the left corner.
Ben Rudolph in for Kenny Neal in the middle. Jets with a 3-man line.
3rd and 10. Fouts to Chandler. Intercepted again. This time it's Lance Mel who gets the ricochet, and he's back to the 33-yard line.
Off the hands of 2 Jets. Lynn to Springs and finally to Mel. 1, 2, 3, and that might end it. But let's give some credit to the pressure. And it was pressure really that destroyed the pattern. They had a load of pressure on Fouts, Gastineau, and Rudolph, Klecko, all in there. Watch it. Bounded from one to the other, and finally to Lance Mel. He'll go back and thank those guys. He'll say, thanks, guys. I wanted that interception.
Ain't sure there was a chance. Lance Mel off a couple of...
He's still got the ball on the sideline.
He has 6 interceptions in regular season. Of course, those 2 big ones that will always be remembered by Jets fans last year in the playoffs in the 17-14 win against Jim Plunkett and the L.A. Raiders, who are victorious today. 1:31 remaining, and now it's up to the Jets to run out the clock. They've earned a very important win in the opener on the road. Those who have picked the Jets as maybe one of the teams, if not the team to beat in the AFC, will look to this game as the rightful start. Crutchfield. Executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football, Ted Nathanson. Producer of today's telecast, Larry Cirillo, and the director, John Gonzalez. Technical director, Dick Roker. Associate director, Fred Whitten. Thanks to all the men and women who worked here in San Diego, the Jets and the Chargers. Our spotters were Dan Sexton and Jim Casey. Helping in the booth, Bob Sexton. Joe Costanza, our statistician. Going back to that statistic, I know fans like to look way ahead. Now that Super Bowl statistic, that of the 17 Super Bowl winners, only one time has a team lost the opener and yet still won the Super Bowl. So there is a high correlation. In fact, just to get to the Super Bowl, let's see, that's 17, that's 34 teams have gotten to the 17 Super Bowl finals. Only 3 of them lost the opener. So the Jets can at least say, well, we're off on the right foot. We're not playing against the long odds. San Diego will be.
Well, of course, that spells some bad news for a couple of other teams that had hoped to be counted among that number. Cincinnati and the Giants and Pittsburgh all bucking the odds, apparently, if that were to hold through this season.
So what do they say? Statistics so often can lie.
Well, the Chargers are hoping that that's the case, believe me.
Yes, as are the Bengals, the Giants, and Steelers. Augustiniak, and you could hear someone yell timeout. And of course, anyone can call timeout now. 1:24 left, and that is the final timeout for San Diego.
Dick, I talked to not only to Coach Gardy and some of the defensive players in the Jets locker room on Friday and again today. But the other thing that was interesting is that they had spent a lot of time, obviously, looking at what the Miami Dolphins had done to take care of this passing attack last year in the playoffs. And, of course, the Dolphins were able to shut Fouts out and later to shut out Todd, 5 interceptions for each of them. But they said, we're going to do some of the same things, and they have been able to do that today.
Let's say next week, then, we have another doubleheader here on NBC. Let's see the early games. Buffalo at Cincinnati. Cleveland will be at Detroit. The Steelers trying to bounce back in a tough one at Green Bay. And New England. Heartbreak losers in overtime will be at Miami. That'll be the early games. The late games, Denver at Baltimore. That'll be Elway against the Colts, who have finally won for Cush. The Oilers have played tough in Green Bay only to lose in overtime will be at the Coliseum against the Raiders. And the Seahawks, who apparently have lost at Kansas City, will meet the New York Jets. Check your local listings for the games and times in your area. Doubleheader here on NBC. Don Coryell, his coaches, Levy on the left, and then Jerry Smith, defensive coach. And now third down, short yardage, and the Chargers cannot stop the clock. They can only touch Todd and get that 30-second clock going. Freeman McNeil, he deserves the breather along with Gastineau. While Gastineau didn't have any sacks, he certainly kept pressure on Fouts, and McNeil would have to rate as certainly the star of this game. See the fourth quarter score, Kansas City leading Seattle 17-13. Freeman McNeil with a couple of touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. McNeil had 120 yards and 23 carries. What a day for Freeman.
He said he'd like to carry the ball more, Dick. He got his wish today. And certainly it was the running game of the Jets that keyed their big victory. We said along with solid performances really throughout. And I don't believe they've gotten any serious injuries today, and that might be the best news for Coach Joe Walton.
Well, Dan Fouts with a final chance with 41 seconds left. Clock stopping on change of possession. So from the 32-yard line, the final rear back and fire for Dan Fouts. who has added to his NFL record of over 300 yards passing, 31st time, but the Jets have won it on the ground. So often is the case, the team that can hold the football and rush it most effectively. That pass intended for Roger Carr, and you can hear the Charger bench yelling he's holding as Carr tried to beat Jerry Holmes. But Holmes got the chuck apparently within the 5-yard distance. 38 seconds left. 41-29, the New York Jets.
Chris Ward celebrating. Well, we saw the Jets having fun earlier in the week with the Mongoose. Now we see them having some fun on the sideline, and it'll be a happy flight home for the Jets as they will carry away an opening day victory and will relish it, I'm sure, for a few days before they have to go back to work.
2nd and 10 for Fouts. He guns it down the middle to Duckworth, who has certainly been an outstanding receiver all day for the Chargers. That's his 4th catch. He's over 100 yards receiving, including his first NFL touchdown. Clock running, 22, 21, 20 seconds left. First down at the Jets' 40. Fouts to Carr, his first catch as a Charger, and he rolls inside the 30. 10 seconds.
That'll do it. I don't think they'll have time to get another one off, Dick.
6-5. This would be the last if he can get it underway.
Yep, he got it right on the bounce.
And that is the end of the game. The New York Jets have defeated the San Diego Chargers 41-29. Joe Walton, his first game as head coach in New York, takes home a victory.
A happy victory for the Jets. A disappointed time for the Chargers, but certainly an indication of the kind of things that can be looked for in the season to come.
For Merlin Olsen, Nick Enberg, so long from San Diego. Now let's go to NFL 83.